This is the Discover Cars Countdown to Green as we get ready to go racing.
The 2.5-mile Pocono Raceway could be called the Bermuda Triangle of Winston Cup racing. Many stars of the sport have been sailing smoothly toward victory here, only to suddenly disappear. Only the swift and the savvy should try to navigate this course, and the one thing every crew needs to win, an experienced captain.
Are you ready?
The younger generation is making Victory Lane an old hangout. This season, the average age of a Winston Cup winner is just 31. And of the last 14 race winners, 13 have yet to cross 35. This is not your father's NASCAR. Today, the Winston Cup Series comes to Pocono.
Get ready. Bow to the masters.
A track with a tradition of rewarding veteran racers.
Bill Elliott, the first man to win 5 times here at Pocono Raceway.
And tormenting the young. Dale Jarrett is the only Winston Cup driver over the age of 39 to win this season. Today, this 3-time Daytona 500 winner returns to Pocono, where he also owns 3 victories. Now, these experienced stars are out to prove that when it comes to winning races, they are not part of Generation X.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot of time.
TNT Sports presents NASCAR. Live from Pocono Raceway, it's the Pennsylvania 500. The Winston Cup Series first raced here on August 4th, 1974. The King, Richard Petty, won that day and raced on to the championship. Since that day, every Winston Cup champion from Petty to Stewart has won at least one race at Pocono during their Winston Cup career. Everybody, our TNT race family welcomes you to Pocono. I'm Bill Weber on the wagon, right alongside pit road. Right off the top, we'll tell you we are in the hurry-up. Weather is a factor here today. It rained briefly this morning. Showers are in the forecast for later this afternoon, around 3 or 3:30. That means the start of this race has been pushed up to 1:03 Eastern Time. That's about 30 minutes from right now. So that means this pile goes to the shredder. This is what we go with. We start with the experience factor. And here's Matt.
And Bill Elliott left his Pocono Indy winner at home, debuting a brand new race car. And Bill, do you like the new car?
It's okay. I mean, the Dodge Dealer Dodge is not bad, but we just need something. We need something to hit. Maybe we can hit on it today.
Track position going to be a big key today?
Track position's everything every week. I mean, everybody talks about that anymore. You know, you get kind of in the pack, and you get caught up in the arrow pushes and all that stuff, and, the car not handling like it wants to be. And, if you get out front, you get in a clean air, and then you can kind of make it do what you want it to do. But, the main thing is just get a good, clean start. This is always a long race. Always hard on engines, hard on transmissions, and see what happens.
Bill Elliott, 6 Pocono wins, looking for a 7th today. Dave?
Well, Matt, Terry Labonte is the veteran member of the Hendrick Motorsports crew, if you will, making over 20 years worth of starts here at Pocono. Terry, what about it today? Can you get your 3rd win here?
Well, our Kellogg Chevy's pretty good. We qualified good. It's the same car we ran here in the first race and ran pretty good with it. So hopefully we have a good run.
He will start outside row number 3 up front. To Marty Snyder.
Well, Dave, experience also with little brother Bobby Labonte, a 3-time Pocono winner. So let's put some of that experience to work. Supposed to have clouds today. How will that affect the race?
Well, it might be a little bit grippier today than it was yesterday. It was a little bit slippery yesterday, but, maybe that'll play in our favor, maybe it won't. But, we're looking forward to a good race and hope our car works good. Hopefully we got it built in, some adjustments built in it so we can change it if the track does change.
One thing that may work in his favor, he starts 4th. The last time he started 4th at Pocono, he won. Matt, back to you.
And Rusty Wallace, a great qualifying effort. Rusty trying to end that streak today.
I hope so. We got a pretty good setup in the car. I don't know what it's going to do early, but I guarantee you we'll be working it all day long. But we did have a good qualifying run. That's how we need to be most of the time. And so it was good on Friday, and yesterday's practice early was bad. The last practice was good, though, so got my fingers crossed.
Rusty Wallace trying to end that streak. Couldn't pick a better place on a drive for 5 Pocono wins, Bill.
Thanks, Matt. Here's a look at the NASCAR top 10 coming in. The top 4 positions unchanged. Then Jimmy Johnson up to 5th, Harvick up to 7th, Busch to 8th, and Jeff Burton 21st after Talladega 11 races ago is now up 11 spots to 10th, 2 points ahead of Rusty Wallace. An historic day for Ricky Rudd here at Pocono. That story when the Discover Card Countdown to Green rolls on.
Discover Card Countdown to Green is brought to you by Discover Card. It pays to discover. And by Stacker 2. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy.
Ricky Rudd turned 700 today. That might explain some of those gray hairs. Actually, Ricky's just 46. He makes his 700th consecutive start here this afternoon. That's a streak that began back on January 11th, 1981 at Riverside, California. What have you accomplished in the last 22 years, 6 months, and 16 days? Here's what Ricky's been up to.
Some great moments over the past 22 years. Ricky, you had a lot of time over the last few weeks to think about the last 22 years. What are the most memorable moments?
Well, Marty, there's been many of them. You know, in this sport, you're always looking ahead. You don't pay too much attention to the past. And 700 starts, I think it just sort of forced us to sort of take a look back. But there's been some memorable times, you know, winning the Brickyard in 97, first win in 1983, way back when our first Winston Cup win. That was a big day for us.
Can you win start number 700? And, you know, will there be a start number 800, Ricky?
Well, really don't know. We just sort of take it a year at a time. And, you know, we've, the Wood Brothers, this Motorcraft Air Force Taurus has been running a little bit better week in and week out. And I feel like we've got a top 5, top 10 car, top 5 probably best. To say we're going to go out and win the race today, that's probably pushing it just a little bit too far.
All right, his paint scheme designed by his son Landon. And check out on the hood, Bill, an autograph from his son Landon. Good luck, Dad.
All right, Marty, thank you very much. Rudd's former teammate Dale Jarrett has 1 win this season at Rockingham. Jarrett won here in June of last year. His other win last season came at Michigan when he started 8th. Today, car 88 starts 8th.
Is off into the infield. Over on his lid, it's Parkingdale Jr. Terrible crash.
Jr. is running to see his teammate, see if he's okay. There we go. Oh, what a great shot that is. Teammates walking away from a crash like that, arm in arm.
That was here 1 year ago. Now, earlier this month, Wally Dallenbach traveled to Canada to research a story on the safety and medical team that is used in the open wheel racing series kart and compare it to the system that is in place here in NASCAR. We had planned to share that report with you today, but because weather has forced an earlier start to this race, we're going to hold that story for a few weeks and focus on the storylines of today's race. So sometime next month, we'll bring you Wally's report comparing the safety and medical system in place in open wheel racing and the one that's used in NASCAR. Now let's get back to the storylines for today's Pennsylvania 500, and here's Matt.
Bill, for the second straight trip to Pocono, Jimmy Johnson starts on the front row. Now, you were great in one practice session yesterday, not so great in the other. Which one do you base your setup off of, Jimmy?
Unfortunately, it's the one where we weren't so good. The track really... the temperature got to the track yesterday for the second practice, and a lot of guys were struggling, including us, to get the car tight enough. You know, it just was really slick, and we struggled. Well, we made some big changes, and I'm really happy with the changes we made. I think we're going to be in good shape. We've got track position on our side, which is, you know, the most important thing. So I think we'll be okay. If we can just come out of here with another top 10 finish, pick up some more points, we'll be good. But at the same time, spraying that champagne last week was awfully nice. So we're looking forward to trying to do that again.
The New Hampshire winner looking for back-to-back wins this season, Bill.
Thanks, Matt. Mark Martin starts 14th today. He's a veteran looking for his first win at Pocono. Jeff Burton starts 19th. He has 3 straight top 10 finishes. He's also looking for his first win here.
Discover Card Countdown to Green is brought to you by Discover Card. It pays to discover. And Wagner Quick Touch Power Roller. Professional results fast.
Over 100,000 people are here today, and they are getting ready for the green flag that will come at 1:03 Eastern Time. We've heard from several veteran stars of the sport. Let's see what the young guys are thinking. Dave.
Well, how about the young championship leader, Matt Kenseth? He had his best finish at Pocono ever earlier this year. Matt, what kind of unique challenges does this track present to a guy trying to win the championship?
It's like going to any other track. It's just different. It's real big. We do some shifting here and got 3 definitely very unique corners. So it's always my track. I really enjoy it. It's a challenge, but it's really a lot of fun to drive around. So I'm looking forward to the race today. Our DeWalt car handled pretty decent yesterday. We had some little problems here and there. Hopefully we got them all worked out, and we'll be able to run up front today.
One thing he's already done well here, he's failed to finish no races here. He's finished all 7 he started. To Marty.
Well, Dave, here in June, Elliott Sadler finished 9th, led 35 laps, and learned a thing or two about track position. Will that be the biggest key today, and also pit strategy, Elliott?
I think so, Marty. We did learn a lot about track position and clean air. I think that's the biggest advantage a car can have here. And yes, M&M's Ford Taurus was fast the first race, but we did give it up there at the end and finished 9th, a disappointing 9th. But got a lot of better track position starting today, and Raymond's going to do a good job keeping it with pit strategy, and we'll see what happens.
That better track position he's talking about will put him starting 3rd. Matt?
2 of Ryan Newman's 4 career wins have come from the pole. Are you as confident as your team is this morning?
You can be overconfident real easy, but we're just going to do the best job we can. Obviously, we got a good starting spot, and track position's big, so we got a good day started out for us. Hopefully, we can end it on a good note.
Started 2nd here in June, finished 5th, starts from the pole today. Bill?
Thanks, Matt. I looked up a bunch of stuff so you wouldn't have to, but I can't share it with you because the countdown's at 0, and the Pennsylvania 500 is coming up next.
This has been the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Let's go racing.
TNT Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Today, it's the Pennsylvania 500, live from Pocono Raceway. It's race number 20 of the 36-race Winston Cup schedule. This is a track where the toughest mountain to climb can often be the fuel mileage mountain. And we have seen people try and scale that mountain in recent weeks. Will it happen here again today? We're just about 500 miles from finding out. 44 cars came here, 43 will start this afternoon's Pennsylvania 500. Right now, the teams and the drivers are on pit road. Let's take you trackside and join this afternoon's pre-race ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation by Father Dan Bitsko, and please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. Father Dan?
As we bow our heads in prayer, Heavenly Father, we feel the presence of your Holy Spirit in our midst. Continue to guide, direct, and protect our drivers in today's race. Watch over all their team members, the fire, medical, and safety personnel. We thank you for the Mattioli family and the Pocono staff, the media, all the sponsors, especially NASCAR, Winston Cup, R.J. Reynolds, and Union 76. Grant us all your peace, health, and happiness. Amen.
For our national anthem, Lieutenant Pierce of the Pennsylvania State Police.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming and the rockets are glad, the bombs bursting in air came through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the
Ladies and gentlemen, for the four most famous words in racing, Congressman Don Sherwood, Air Force General Donald Cook.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
We are now just moments away from one of the most challenging events in all of motorsports. Turn 1, lap 1 at Pocono. And here's the man to call it for you, a guy who has spent most of this week trying to get the theme song from Welcome Back Kotter out of his head. Alan Bestwick along with Wally Dallenbach and Benny Parsons.
I've been doing a little investigative reporting this week, Bill. The payback is coming soon. That's all I want everybody to know. Yeah, you all should be. Glad to be here with you at Pocono today. Benny, all I've heard people talk about all week, drivers, crew chiefs, even the reporters writing their stories, is how pit strategy and fuel mileage have come to decide a lot of these races lately. Going to see that again today?
Of course we will. It started here in June. As soon as you get to that window that you can make it the rest of the way, you'll make a pit stop and hope the caution flag comes out the next lap. You're out there with 4 fresh tires, and everyone behind you will have to, everyone will make a pit stop. They'll restart the race behind you. You pick up that valuable track position they've all talked about this morning.
So it's going to play big again today. Wally, you always liked driving this racetrack. Why is it so special for the drivers?
Well, because this racetrack is such a challenge. You've got 3 different corners. You can never get your car set up perfect around this place, so you just pick one corner and you have to hustle the car through the other 2. There's a lot of shifting, a lot of braking. This is a fun racetrack for drivers.
All right, 3, 4, or 5 wide entering turn 1.
Entering turn 1, they'll be 2 wide. Now they'll be 7 wide, probably getting down to the corner.
7 wide. Over, under?
I'm going to say the under, but not by much.
I got 5. The cars roll off. We'll look at the starting lineup when we come back to Pocono.
The Pennsylvania 500 from Pocono Raceway on TNT is brought to you by Nextel. Now with coast-to-coast walkie-talkie built right in. Now that's a walkie-talkie. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood.
Pocono Raceway in the mountains of eastern Pennsylvania. City all to itself on race day. Better than 100,000 here to see the Pennsylvania 500, which begins just moments from now.
65!
Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, proud to sponsor the Bud Pole Award given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Winston Cup race, Ryan Newman, for the 5th time this season. The fast man in time trials. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $8 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. 43 drivers set to go. Here's a look at the starting lineup for the Pennsylvania 500. Jimmie Johnson, last week's race winner, alongside Ryan Newman on the front row. Newman looking to be the first driver to win 4 times this season. Bobby Labonte's a 3-time Pocono winner. He's outside row number 2.
See John Andretti, Terry Labonte back in row 3. Andretti, great qualifying run.
And a couple of former Pocono winners, Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, 7 wins between them in row 4. While you look at the rest of the starting field, you got somebody you want to talk to there, Walt?
Yeah, let's see if we can reach Dale Jr. Hey, Dale, this is Wally up in the booth. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You ready for 500 miles of fun here at Pocono?
Yeah, it is fun. Coolest thing about this place probably is running 206 miles an hour downshifting into third gear. I think that takes a lot of guts really to be able to do that, especially going into a corner like that. But it's a fun racetrack. We're going to be shifting on the back straightaway today, so that kind of helps me keep from overdriving the corner. So that's kind of why I like doing that. We got a pretty good car. We got it dialed in.
Did you have to make many changes from the final practice yesterday?
Well, we weren't good at all in the first practice, so we made a lot of changes in between the first practice and the second practice. And the car was really good. I was real happy with the car, so we just bumped a little bit of bite into it to start the race with, so we got a good, comfortable car, hopefully, and just kind of use that bite out all day long as the track gets tighter.
Okay, man. Good luck.
All right.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to start in row number 9, the 18th position for today's Pennsylvania 500.
And you saw Tony Stewart back in row 17 starting 33rd, the winner here in June.
What's up with that?
And I stopped by and talked to the crew this morning, and so you guys were terrific in happy hour, not so good. I mean, the first practice session, not so good in happy hour. I assume you were just trying some stuff. He said, no, we were trying. We were jumped. And I saw Tony this morning, talk to him, and he said we're not very good. But I would expect when the green flag drops, the 20 car to go forward.
See, Jeff Green and Kyle Petty will have to drop to the tail end of the field for the start of today's race. And Brett Bodine failed to qualify in Larry McClure's number 4. By the way, both Green and Petty engine changes. So they go to the back under NASCAR's 1 engine per weekend rule.
I'm sure glad that someone agrees with me, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. I've always said going into turn 1 here at Pocono is the most terrifying thing that any race car driver can do.
But it's a fun terrifying.
But, you know, you always wonder, am I going to make it or not?
Now, you're just not normal. That's why it's a fun terrifying. Some things will follow through today's Pennsylvania 500 for you. A little play on Shakespeare for you here, Walt.
I'm glad you told me that.
Well, you never know.
To shift or not to shift? Well, I don't think you need to shift if you've got a ton of horsepower, but I think most guys are going to have to shift.
I think most guys will shift, and I think that even if you're fast without shifting, you would be better if you did shift, because there's nothing beats those RPMs and horsepower off the corner.
And that second one, the subplot there, tells us that experience is a huge factor at this racetrack.
Well, track position now getting to be what it is. That second thing today, I think I'll pick the under on that.
You'll take the under?
Yeah, I think I'll take the under.
Okay. Pitch strategy. It's been everything these last few weeks. We've already established that we think it'll be big in deciding today's race. We'll plot it and track it all for you as the race goes on. Some final stories from pit road before the green flag. Dave Burns, lead us off.
Some more Shakespeare. Which car shalt thou use? Well, when is a seldom used car your favorite car? How about for Kurt Busch when it wins in its only start in 2002? That's exactly what he has today, and they think it might win again here today at Pocono. As for Mark Martin, he is racing the very same car that he raced just weeks ago here at Pocono, where it finished second. So Mark, very happy with his car. These two teammates had the chance for their first win, and their first win ever for car owner Jack Roush here at Pocono. Marty?
Another possibility for Roush's first win here at Pocono, Dave, is Jeff Burton. Big key to their success this weekend, a test at Indianapolis earlier this week where crew chief Paul Andrews said they found some small chassis changes which have made a big difference for Jeff, evidenced by final practice yesterday when he was second fastest, trying to snap a winless streak that almost has 60 races now behind it. Matt?
Jeff Gordon gave away 69 points last week to Matt Kenseth. He's finished second, third, and fourth in 3 of the last 5 races, but hasn't won since Martinsville. They're using a lot of the New Hampshire setup here at Pocono, trying to close that gap that Kenseth has. Alan?
All right, Matty, thanks. And we talked about Tony Stewart a second ago, way back in 33rd starting spot. BP, 8 top 10 finishes in 9 Pocono races. He can get there again today.
He is terrific here at this racetrack. And that car beside of him, Ricky Craven, yesterday in that final happy hour, that final hour of practice was very, very good. And when you go down in turn 1, everyone's going to be diving for the bottom of the racetrack, except Ricky Rudd is not. He ran the high line the entire hour-long session.
Rudd or Craven? You meant Craven?
Craven, yes, I'm sorry. Ricky Craven.
200 laps around the 2.5-mile track for the 500-mile distance today. The fans are on their feet. Settle in and enjoy the Pennsylvania 500 with us here on TNT.
Watch that front straightaway get filled up.
fast. You got to cross the line first.
All right, there's 3. There's 4 wide. Back in the pack.
Yeah, just 4 wide. Come on, guys. 6, 7. No, just 4.
Taking it down to 3. Will they get through turn 1, lap 1 cleanly?
See, Elliott Sadler's taking over that second spot.
Got through the corner. Now the tunnel turn. The access tunnel to the infield runs underneath the corner.
Now this is where you want to be down single file. Very tough getting through here on the outside, especially early in the race.
And the shortest of the straightaways around this track before the flat turn number 3. Very important, though, because it leads on to the longest straightaway in NASCAR racing. This front stretch here at Pocono, 3/4 of a mile long. Ryan Newman leads lap 1. Elliott Sadler second. Bobby Labonte third. John Andretti fourth. And Jimmy Johnson settles in 5th. There's Bill Elliott sliding underneath Dale Jarrett. That'll be for the 11th spot.
Oh, wow. Casey, careful.
It's real bumpy down there at the bottom of the racetrack, so you do have to be careful. If you run right down on that white line, got to be careful because that car may jump up the racetrack into the door of the next guy up there.
Kurt Busch in front of Jamie McMurray for 9th place.
Here comes Jeff Burton, that 99 car. Underneath Jarrett.
And Dale's lost a bunch of spots just in this lap, BP. About 5 positions. He was 11th at the line last time by. That was just a pass for 15th that Burton made on it. How about that big orange car?
Well, Orange Crush is on the inside of Harvick, making her 3 wide.
27th place for Tony Stewart, started 33rd.
Not too shabby.
Harvick 3 wide inside of Biffle and Park. Hang on, boys. That's not a corner you want to go 3 wide into.
Nope. And usually the guy in the middle has got to back off.
And wisely, and Biffle did. That's Biffle in the 16 car.
Yellow car there on the outside. That's that special paint job for Ricky Rudd's 700th consecutive start that his 8-year-old son Landon came up with. A different look than normal, but so it should be. Rusty Wallace on the move inside of John Andretti. That's at 5th place. Question is, does the train follow him through?
Tell you what, didn't take Rusty long to get to that high groove off of turn 1.
Matt Kenseth, NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader, right behind Rusty Wallace. And Terry Labonte and Kurt Busch lined up there. I was teasing Jimmy Fennick, Kurt Busch's crew chief, this morning. I said, you know, if you can keep some tires on this thing, you can have a good finish here. They had a tire go down right in the closing laps in the June race here.
There is such a thing as racing luck. Kurt Busch, Jimmy Fennick, that 97 car. They haven't had a lot of it here lately. Rusty Wallace, neither has Rusty. Comes by in 5th spot.
Rusty, a 4-time winner of this Pennsylvania 500. Terry Labonte underneath Matt Kenseth just behind him. Rusty running right now in 5th position. Terry picking up that spot from Kenseth. That'll be 7th place. So Matt back to 8th and feeling a little heat from his Roush teammate, Kurt Busch. Heard a lot of guys talk about tire fall off here in the opening laps, that the tires would slow by about a second, second and a half as they put some wear on. The driver has to deal with that behind the wheel. How?
Well, I mean, if they're falling off, it depends if they fall off and they maintain. You know, if obviously the car's not going to, it's going to lose the handle after a while. And if it goes off a second or a second and a half and then maintains it, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good set of tires. It just depends if it starts to fall off 2 or 3 seconds, then you really have a handful with the handling.
Ryan Newman started on pole. He's led all of the laps we've had so far, though it's very early in the going. Marty?
And look at the lead that Ryan Newman has built up, Alan. Here in June, this team started second, and they immediately fell back into the field, and they felt like they never gained back the track position they lost early in the race. So their goal, first off today, was to lead the first lap and then lead as many laps as they could, get that clean air. They feel like that is the critical thing for them to win this race today. So far for the 12 team, goal number 1 accomplished.
Newman out in front by almost 2 seconds over Elliott Sadler. Big gap.
And that's why Larry Foyt, the 50 car, we see that stream of oil fall in the car, don't we, Dave?
Yeah, VP and Larry Foyt radioed in. He could hear that it was a motor problem, thought it might be a rocker arm. Guy told him just turn left and take it to the garage.
Tough luck there. Larry going to be the first one out of the Pennsylvania 500. Terry Labonte up on John Andretti for 6th place. Tell you what, that 5 team, Jim Long, crew chief, and Terry, they've really turned things around here the second half of the season. Of their 5 top 10s in the season, 4 of them have come in the last 7 races. That's pretty good. So we're underway here at Pocono Raceway in the Pennsylvania 500. Ryan Newman leads the early going. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. How about the Wendy's race menu? Next weekend, the Brickyard 400 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, always a highlight of the summer months. And we'll bring it to you on NBC next Sunday starting at 2 Eastern. Then the Watkins Glen Road Course, Michigan summer event, and the night race at Bristol. All coming up as we continue our coverage of the race for the championship on TNT and NBC.
Oh, Kenseth almost gets on the wall. Might have touched the wall coming off of turn 3 that time as he tries to get by Terry Labonte on the outside. That's the DeWalt car. You see it coming in the center of the screen.
Terry's been making a lot of passes going in turn 1 here. That's where he's been making most of his positions up.
This is the race for 7th and 8th place, and Kurt Busch joining in from behind.
Whoa, Kurt got a little bit loose there.
So Matt Kenseth, the championship leader, picking up 7th. Terry Labonte now to 8th, and Kurt Busch 9th. We look ahead from there to the race for 2nd place. Rusty Wallace starting to put a little pressure on Elliott Sadler.
And Elliott says, go Rusty. I think he understands how hungry Rusty Wallace is for a victory.
I sense a little trend here. We've got 2 Penske racing machines now in the top 2 spots. Think they're making a little horsepower?
Well, that 12 car can lead the rest of the pack that's in the draft. Yeah, I would think he's making some horsepower.
Bobby Labonte now trying to close in on Elliott Sadler. How about Rusty Wallace, Marty?
Running really well right now, and Spider just came on the radio and said, that was impressive, boss, that pass. And he said, I know. That's experience talking to you.
Well, 38 let him by.
But he caught him.
It was inevitable.
Yeah.
So at some point, you gotta put up the surrender hand and say, go on, right?
Got white flag up.
Yeah. Rusty Wallace, winner of this race, 1991, 94, 96, and 2000. Can you believe he's only had 6 top 10 finishes this whole season?
Yes.
Not what he was expecting, not what anybody was expecting. You know, you got to figure, though, changing brands was a little bit bigger of a project than they maybe expected it to be.
But it seems like that changing the brands has worked. The first few races of the year, yes, those guys did struggle. I think that Ryan Newman in the 12 car struggled, but it seems like after the first 5 or 6 races that the only reason that Ryan Newman has won more races has been bad luck. But he lose 2 or 3 engines?
Yeah, 5 races he hasn't finished.
91, 9,200 RPMs going into turn 2. And it didn't look like that I don't think he made an upshift in between 1 and 2.
Jimmy Johnson, last week's winner, running 6th, trying to chase down John Andretti for the 5th spot. Marty?
Yeah, remember, Alan, he started 2nd, has fallen back to 6. He is tied off of 1, tied off to 3. His crew chief, Chad Knaus, came on the radio, said, dial 1 round of rear brake into that car. It should loosen it up. He said, also remember, the further back you fall, the worse that tight condition is going to get. Bill?
Jeff Burton marching forward in this field. Started 19th, 10th at the line last time by. Car a little tight in the middle of 1 and 3 and is getting tighter, but he's free off of 3. Burton was second fastest in Happy Hour. This is the car that he took to Las Vegas and Chicago. Finished 6th both times, looking for his first Pocono victory.
And he's looking for 9th spot on Terry Labonte. He got it going into the tunnel turn.
Go back to what Marty was saying. If Marty, did you say his car was tight off or tight all the way through?
His car is tight all the way through, but especially off of the corner. And they, you know, usually when you dial in a little bit of rear brake, that helps tight in, really, is what it helps for the most part. But they're doing anything they can to help him out. And Chad's point was, you know, you're part of what you're feeling too is aero push from other cars. So the further he falls back in the field, the more cars are in front of Jimmie Johnson, the worse that tight's going to get.
Okay. Exactly right, Marty. The brake bias will help just a little bit if the car is tight getting into the corner. But if he's tight all the way through, a pit stop will help that.
Yeah. And I said a moment ago that the 12 car, I think it lost 2 or 3 inches. I think, in fact,
hold on to it until the first pit stop, and we'll work on it, all right?
There you go.
Or loose off of 1, but more so in 3.
Chad Knaus telling Jimmy, hang on to the pit stop, and we'll work on it. Oh, by the way, Larry Foyt just came back out onto the racetrack. When they got his car into the garage and lifted the hood, they found it was a spark plug wire off. Wow. Not the engine going south, so they sent him back out, and he's out 10 laps down to the race leader. Ryan Newman out in front, just underway in the Pennsylvania 500 at Pocono. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The massive Pocono Raceway in the mountains of eastern Pennsylvania, where better than 100,000 have come today to see the Pennsylvania 500 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. How about our Stacker 2 NASCAR Winston Cup track fact? Mattioli family that owns this racetrack has poured a lot of money back into this facility to try and upgrade the racetrack. Nearly $3 million a year for 10 years. Grandstand side, they tore all the bathrooms down, rebuilt new ones, built a new garage area, facilities in the infield for the competitors.
VP salary of the year.
Yeah, right. I wish. This racetrack has improved greatly since 1974, the first time they ran here.
Ryan Newman, the race leader, up by 4 1/3 seconds on Rusty Wallace, but Kurt Busch is not having as good a time of it. He may have taken a little paint off the right side of that Ford. Check it out.
Here he comes, currently running in 6th position, comes off and goes up and touches that wall.
Yeah, that won't hurt anything.
You know, it will, Wally, because I was talking to some guys down in the garage here this morning about those, right in front of those rear tires, and 1/4 of an inch of width there is 30 counts of downforce.
Is that right?
30 counts of downforce. I could not believe it. It's like 3-4% of the total downforce just in front of those rear tires where he just brushed.
But on the other hand, maybe he took a little drag out of it.
Well, I could. He helped the drag, but he certainly hurt the downforce.
So what you're saying is a Darlington stripe at Pocono is not going to be a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Kurt running in 6th position now. And here comes Jamie McMurray. 8th place on Jimmie Johnson. Jimmy sliding back here a little bit. Lost a few positions in the last few laps.
It's pretty tough when you're tight around this place, especially there in turn 1. You'll use a lot of the racetrack like you see the 48 car doing. You just slide forever, it seems like, and you can't get back on the throttle.
Whoa.
And right now, Jimmie Johnson, this 48 car, he's thinking to himself, man, we need a caution flag to work on this car and make it better before I lose too many positions and lose too much track position. But unfortunately, when you really need one, it's usually for you.
About to complete the 50-mile mark here of the Pennsylvania 500. Ryan Newman is out in front, and it's time to go through the field. Marty, you're leading off.
Ryan Newman is doing pretty well. A little over a 4-second lead now on his teammate Rusty Wallace. He said the balance is good. Little loose off 3, little tight off of 1. Team feeling very good. Car won at Chicago a couple of weeks ago. Behind him, his teammate is Rusty Wallace. He is also running pretty well. His spotter today, Earl Barber. Roger Penske not here. He's at another race. He said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's working great. You're pulling away from 3rd, Matt.
Elliott Sadler rides in 3rd. He told me this morning they feel like they have finally found what's been missing in their chassis department. Looking for a good run today. Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte, back in June, they felt like they missed a setup, brought a different race car and a different philosophy setup-wise. Right now, the car a little tight up off the corner, free everywhere else. Very happy. Also, Matt Kenseth, the point leader, tagged the wall earlier. He told his team he didn't feel like it was hard enough to really do anything. His car is loose on entry. And meanwhile, his teammate, Kurt Busch, second 1 year ago in this race, last week 11th. They just won a top 5 finish, trying to build some momentum going into the biggest race in the second half, the Brickyard 400, Bill.
Right behind him, Jeff Burton from 19th to 7th and moving forward. The car's getting a little tighter, especially in the middle of the turns. And just how many turns are there at this track where we pose that question to Jeff Burton?
Well, we turn here more than we do at every other racetrack, and they say it has 3 corners and every other racetrack has 4. I never did understand that. If a normal racetrack has 4, then this one has to have 6. That's the only way I know to look at it.
Well, anyway he looks at it, he's getting through them all pretty well. Marty?
Jamie McMurray getting around pretty well, too. Bill started 12th. He's up to the 8th position right now. Car very good. This team learned a lot testing Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago. They have this car there. They liked it so much they're going to bring it here, and they're taking it to Indianapolis next week, just a little bit tight for McMurray. Jimmy Johnson, believe it or not, now he has gone to the loose side. They dialed some front brake back in. He said his car was going to come to him. Perhaps that a product of him falling back from the cars in front of him, Dave.
Last night in the happy hour, Marty, the 5-car of Terry Labonte, very loose, according to crew chief Jim Long. They fixed it all right. It's too tight now. They said, hang on, buddy. We'll give you that track bar adjustment when you come in for the first pit stop. Alan?
The Penske Racing teammates out in front, Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace. Newman leading Wallace by 4 seconds, with Rusty 3.5 seconds up on 3rd place, caution-free so far, and all 43 starters are on the track. The defending winner of the race runs 11th. Let's continue going through the field. Marty?
And that would be one Bill Elliott running in the 11th spot. That's exactly where he started as well. He is loose in the tunnel turn, tight in turn 1. Bill?
Sterling Marlin having a good run. Tony Glover told Sterling he thinks he has a top 5 car if Sterling can keep the car in clean air. Sterling did say he missed a shift earlier in this race. So far, no problems from that. Marty?
Bill, his young teammate Casey Mears is just brimming with confidence. We've already had 2 races here at Pocono this weekend. Both of them ARCA races, both of them won by Casey Mears. Fuel and tires only on the next stop, no changes.
Michael Waltrip chasing the 41, looking to get by him in a car they call Old Faithful. Michael says the car's a little free, but he's very happy with it. Dave?
Jeff Gordon has picked up 10 spots already, Bill. The car was a little bit loose yesterday. Right now, Jeff reporting the car just a little bit tight, and when he's behind another car, the car gets even tighter. Bill?
The 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. free all the way around, really loose in turn 3 is what Jr. told his crew. Tony Eury Jr. said that's good for us. Matt?
Tony Stewart brought back the same car that dominated here in June. They struggled in qualifying on Friday. He has climbed from 33rd all the way up to 17. The only complaint so far, the car is tight up off turn 3, Dave.
John Andretti had a great qualifying run, started 5th, but it's faded and faded. His car has gone very, very loose. Tony, for the crew chief, just hopes he can do what he always does, which is find speed, however the car is handling. Marty?
Mark Martin started 14th, Dave. He's fallen back now to the 19th position, rather. His car extremely loose as he fights that race car up off of turn 1. They are fighting this car, and they have the same chassis setup that finished 2nd here in June, Bill.
Jeremy Mayfield is fighting his car as well. Started 15th, has fallen back to 20th. Now it's got 1 spot back, climbing back up to 19th. A 2-time winner at this track, trying to let the car come to him as the races and the laps go by. Dave?
Bill, I talked to Greg Biffle's crew chief, Randy Gotts, this morning. He said the car would be barely fair today. They've got a lot of work to do, just a little bit loose right now. They've planned a track bar adjustment when Greg comes in. Marty?
Boy, Dave, the free fall has been amazing for Dale Jarrett. The 88 car started 8th today. He is now back to the 22nd position. He is tight into 1, off of 1, into 3, and off of 3. We can look for pit stops in about 10 laps, guys.
All right, there you go. There's a little better than half the field. And how things stack up for the front runners in the Pennsylvania 500. Things are stacking up very nicely, thank you, for Ryan Newman. While Bobby Labonte tries to stack up Elliott Sadler for 3rd.
And these guys are 8 seconds behind that fellow you just mentioned a moment ago, Ryan Newman.
So he's not saying Hello, Newman. He's saying goodbye, field. Out in front by 3 seconds over his teammate. Ryan Newman leads the Pennsylvania 500. Cue the duck. It is time for our Aflac NASCAR Winston Cup Trivia Quiz.
Aflac!
Who ran in the most Pocono NASCAR Winston Cup races before finally winning for the first time?
I have no idea. I think Richard Petty won the first race here.
He's been in a different colored car today. Big occasion for him.
Ricky Rudd.
Thank you.
Oh.
If I knew if I made it obvious enough, you'd jump in there and get it.
Well, if you gave me the answer, of course I would.
44th attempt for Ricky Rudd. First raced here in 1977. And it took him 22 years to get his victory here. Our Aflac Trivia Quiz. Thank you, Mr. Duck. Ryan Newman having a fine day here at Pocono so far. Out in front of his Pennsylvania 500, but a dwindling advantage over his teammate Rusty Wallace.
It at one time was over 4 seconds, and now it's down to about 1.5 seconds. And you can see Rusty Wallace in the picture. There he comes.
And how about Ricky Rudd? Talking about, we showed you on Discover Card Countdown to Green, the different colored car and so on. Talked about his 700th consecutive start. Ricky is running midfield now. Marty, what's going on with his car today?
Well, his car's running pretty decent now, and we've talked plenty about this being his 700th consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup start, a streak that began back in 1981. 13 years before his son Landon was even born. In fact, young 8-year-old Landon is the person we have to thank for the beautiful paint scheme you see on that car today. He told me the hardest part about doing it was keeping it a secret from his dad. He started it in the motor coach at Dover, drew a little bit there, and then the next week he finished it up while his dad was at the race shop in Virginia. The best things he likes about the paint scheme, all the different colors. He likes the lightning bolt on it because he said to that it means speed, and he loves those flames. He said the mandatory part, it had to have flames. So we have to thank Ford and for the idea of letting Landon do this. Remember, if you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Ricky Rudd running 27th right now in a Motorcraft Ford. 700th consecutive start. What a streak. Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, and a fast-moving Tony Stewart. Now, Jeff hasn't been a slouch in the opening laps either. He started 25th, and he just took 13th from Terry. And Tony started 33rd, and he's trying to get 14th from Terry now. And those are the two quick movers in the early going.
And look at Tony Stewart. We see all those cars. See 24 cars gain 12 spots. Tony Stewart has gained 18. When we watch all these cars go through turns 1 in and off, high on the racetrack. Tony Stewart right down next to that white line.
Likes that white line.
Leader about to complete the 32nd lap of the race, and we're going to see some pit stops. Oh, Ryan Newman almost lost control, ducking for pit road. Tried to carry a little too much speed, had the car a little bit sideways, but gathered it up.
I think we got a right rear cut down. 4 5, bring her on in.
Now maybe he was headed for pit road in a bigger hurry than he planned on. So Newman is in at lap 33.
Well, I guess you're going to have a right rear go down. This is probably a good time for it to happen for Ryan Newman. They were loose off. That was the only problem Ryan really had. They did know that Rusty was catching him. 2 rounds in the left rear, down on the track bar as well for Ryan Newman. It'll be 4 tires, and they get that right rear tire off. Long time on the rear tires, though, Bill.
Wheel straight, foot on the brake for Jeremy Mayfield. This is scheduled stop. Going to make an air pressure adjustment and a track bar adjustment, trying to dial that car in just a little bit. Under green, these guys going to take 4 tires because they need all the fuel they can get in there. Around Mark Martin, he's on his way.
Well, we told you when we say ooh, our crack production team always has the look for you.
We'll
Ryan
follow
Newman
up.
coming to pit road almost. It looked like he decided that tire was going down, and he made a late break for the pit lane.
Well, it's a good move either way, because if it did go down and he passed the pit entrance, it's a long way around here. Good opportunity that the tire would have come apart and had taken that fender apart too.
That was a very good move. And this is Matt.
And Bobby Labonte's already in and out. They made an air pressure adjustment. His car was a little tight, especially up turn 3, Marty.
Jamie McMurray rather on pit road right now. His car just a little bit loose, center off. They have fixed that with air pressure. Also a wedge adjustment for Jamie McMurray running to the front. Jimmy Johnson on pit road as well right now. Loose off of 3, tight in the tunnel turn. How do you fix that? Air pressure and wedge is what they did. Leader Rusty Wallace coming down pit road this time, guys.
This is unbelievable. It is monkey see, monkey do. They're all pitting too soon simply because the leader had a flat tire.
And they can't give up that second lap on the older tires.
Exactly.
Marty, here comes Rusty Wallace.
His crew chief, Billy Wilburn, said on the radio, hey, you're catching that 12. He said, I know we're better on the longer run than they are. Just a tick loose for Rusty, but it will be no changes and fuel and tires only on this stop.
Matt? Elliott Sadler already in. Ray Holm going to work on the left rear. We told you earlier he was fighting a tight condition. They're going to adjust it with air pressure. Bill.
Jeff Burton's getting 4 tires and fuel. Slight chassis adjustment. He was up to 4th from 19. He's on his way.
Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, Steve Park, Tony Stewart all leaving pit road. Just about everyone's been in. See, Ricky Craven is in. Dave Blaney is in. Here comes Casey Mears towards you. Matt Kenseth has not stopped yet, though. And he's going to cross the start-finish line now and lead a lap and collect 5 bonus points toward the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship.
Very smart. Very, very smart. That's worth giving up 3 or 4 seconds on the racetrack for those 5 points.
He'll come in next lap. That is called smart point racing. Dale Jr.'s in. Michael Waltrip has not stopped yet. Should be seeing him shortly. Also, Jeff Green has not been on the pit road. Here comes Junior, Bill.
And he was able to hang out there for a little while now coming down pit road. Had originally fought a condition, a loose handling condition on this race car, but the longer they went, the better the car got. He wants a little more front bite, but he just wanted small adjustments because at the end of the run, he was happy with the car. He's got 4 tires, fuel, he's back out on his way.
Great pit stop with those guys.
Very nice. You see those left side tire, that change on the left side? 5 off, 5 on. Very nice.
He's got some rear bank in that 17 car.
Yeah. Hope he's planning on getting 4 tires. Championship leaders on pit road. Matt Yoakum will call the stop.
And Kenseth on his way in. He led a lap, but also he has a very clean pit road, not heavily congested. Basically what they're going to do to fix the 17 car, just go up on air pressure all the way around. He really wasn't quite sure how to fix the car earlier than the last minute call for a pressure change.
That's a good pit stop, but he gave up a second to Dale Earnhardt Jr. and that team.
Kenny Wallace is on pit road. Still waiting on Michael Waltrip to stop. And looks to me like Michael is the only one of the lead cars that has not been in yet. Elliott Sadler, Kurt Busch racing there. That's 7th and 8th spots for the moment. And Jamie McMurray mixed in the 42.
Michael Waltrip, the leader, has brought the 15 car onto pit road.
There he is. He does lead a lap as you saw him cross the start-finish line there. So the 6th place man in the championship just picked up some bonus points, Bill.
Having a good run here, too, Alan. Climbing up to the top spot from his 17th starting spot. Car just a little bit free. Maybe a small air pressure adjustment here. Got good fuel mileage. Happy with the way the car is handling. Left side tires going on. Waiting on fuel and the lugs. They've got him. He's gone.
Another great pit stop.
So the stops have cycled through, and the lead goes back to Ryan Newman. And his lead goes back to 4 seconds over his teammate, Rusty Wallace. Marty?
Just a real quick follow-up on Ryan Newman's stop. The right rear tire was up and fine, so there's no fender damage. He did not have a flat right rear tire.
Well, didn't hurt him any.
No.
And again, by stopping a little bit before his teammate Rusty Wallace did, that extra lap or 2 on fresh tires has given Ryan back his 4-second lead.
The downside to all that is if this race would go green for 500 miles, then he's got to make an extra stop to some of the cars that stopped later.
So just about to hit the 1/4 mark of the Pennsylvania 500 here at Pocono Raceway. Fill that thing up with my test, would you please? You're looking at the winning team from the McDonald's Drive-Thru Pit Championship in New Hampshire, powered by Powerade. Bill Elliott's team got the job done again, their third such win of the season among participating teams, spending the least amount of time on pit road last Sunday. Michael Waltrip's team continues to lead the season standings. And Bill Elliott running in 9th position now after that round of pit stops. The defending winner of the Pennsylvania 500, hanging in there in the top 10. He started in the 11th spot. All Ryan Newman so far. Go ahead.
Just going to say, it looks like, you know, on the time board, Ryan is faster the first part of the run, but then Rusty is 2 or 3/10 of a second quicker once you get about halfway through the run towards the end of the tires.
So what you're saying is we'll let this go for a few laps, see where Ryan's lead tops off, and then see when Rusty starts to reel him in.
Exactly.
Well, he had a lead of about 4.5 seconds before him, Rusty Wallace, and when he made the pit stop, he was down to about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. But Rusty had to fight his way through some traffic to get up to second spot, so he might be a little bit faster.
Take a ride with Ryan.
Sounds like a fast thing to do today.
Yeah, coming out of 3, in 3rd gear. Probably grab high gear, probably just past the start-finish line, right about here.
He shifted.
He shifted. Now he's going to get on the brakes, slow it down, downshift.
800.
Almost 200 miles per hour. At 195.
Now here's where it'd be interesting to see if he shifts or he doesn't shift. If he doesn't shift, we're going to see a lot of RPMs. Like he shifted right there at the end, didn't he?
Not at the end. I don't understand that.
Did you hear him drop a gear going into 1?
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
He did.
All right, yeah. Missed it.
So he did grab a gear right before he got to turn 2.
There you see the gear shift lever.
Yeah, now he's back in 3rd gear, which he probably downshifted right before he got into turn 3. Grab a gear. See what he does. That's interesting if he grabbed the gear right before he turned into turn 2. Because normally guys will just hold it in 3rd gear right here. Nope. Okay, he's not. How about it, Marty?
Well, guys, let's get on to the shifting thing with Ryan Newman. Remember, they did not shift here the first couple of times they came to this racetrack. They just started shifting this June. After the season was over with last year, this 12 bunch came here to test in December, believe it or not. And they worked for a whole day on Ryan shifting here at Pocono. They found that he was faster when he did it, because remember, he didn't do it his first year, and they think that's one of the reasons they were better this June than they were last year.
Well, there's no question, like Benny said earlier, the RPMs are your friend here at Pocono, and if you leave it in 4th gear all the way around the racetrack, you're just going to scrub off all those RPMs and all that speed, and when you get back in the gas, you're way down on your RPMs, and it's just slow to accelerate. When you downshift, it accelerates quicker.
Monitoring NASCAR's race communication channel, some of the drivers on pit road are saying there might be oil in turn 1, and some of the others are saying there's not. Let's stay on the green.
You know what I saw?
Is everything okay?
There's a car. I saw a yellow car earlier smoking when he went down into turn 1, and I just saw it again.
Well, there are 2 yellow cars running together there, Jeff Green and Dave Blaney. So.
I think it's the 1 car. And if we watch him when he goes into the corner, especially into turn 1, there you see smoke right there.
They changed the engine in this 1 car this morning. They found some water seeping out of the engine and determined they needed to change. So
when you watch that car going to turn 1, when he hits the brakes and downshifts, there was a lot of smoke coming off that car, and it's been doing it for about the last 4 or 5 laps.
NASCAR has spotters out around this massive racetrack in the corners. The communication back and forth is track's clear, and we stay under the green flag.
Watch Jeff as he goes down in the corner. You can actually see the car smoking right now.
And the 1 will be black flagged and brought in to have a look. So Jeff Green will have to report to pit road on his next lap by. One car running in 26th place right now. Remember, he had to drop to the rear on the pace laps because of that engine change Benny talked about a second ago.
Now, some of the guys that may have been feeling the oil out there may be guys that need to come back in and make another adjustment.
Yeah, exactly. You drivers would never do that. All right, Ryan Newman leads Rusty Wallace. His advantage up from 4.5 seconds to 5 1/3 seconds. It's all Ryan Newman so far in the Pennsylvania 500. Well, after much discussion and back and forth between the spotters out in the corner, NASCAR decided let's be safe rather than sorry, and they've put the caution out to check turn 1 for oil after Jeff Green came down pit road and has since taken his car to the garage for a little bit of repair. Ryan Newman allowed 3 drivers back on the lead lap coming to the caution flag, the gentlemanly thing. Johnny Benson, Kenny Wallace, and Tony Raines. Now we're going to see some pit strategy.
How many cars are going to fuel only? 2 tires? How many cars will change 4?
It's been between 11 and 17 laps since the green flag pit stops for the leaders. Michael Waltrip, the low number there. Ryan Newman, the high. Who gets 2? Who gets fuel? And who gets 4? Matty?
And keep an eye for Bobby Labonte's team to go for a 2-tire change. No discussions about the tire situation on the radio. Fatback giving hand signals to the team. Jonathan Davis did an air pressure adjustment in the right front. Bobby said the car was laying over. The 97's out and away. Add to the 18, Marty.
This should be a fast stop for Rusty Wallace. It'll be 2 tires and no changes. Fuel, his teammate Ryan Newman pitting right in front of him, will take 4 tires, and it will be 2 rounds down on the track bar, 2 rounds down on wedge. However, Wallace wins the race off pit road.
Bill? Jeff Burton heading down pit road. He took 4 tires, got an air pressure and wedge adjustment tight in the center. That makes him loose off, but they opted for 4, hoping it'll pay off. Dave?
Bill, Jeff Gordon said he's tight in the turns, and when he cranks wheel to fix it, he breaks loose, but they like that loose when he's in traffic. He likes the car to be loose, so they made no changes to the car, changed 2 right side tires, and sent him on his way, filled it full of fuel.
So we'll organize who did what on the pit stops and get you set for the restart when we come back to the Pennsylvania 500. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
The Pennsylvania 500 from Pocono Raceway on TNT is brought to you by Chevrolet. Wherever there's a winner's circle, we'll be there. Sears Craftsman. Craftsman has the right tool for every project. America's #1 tool brand at America's best store. Craftsman at Sears. And Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser.
NASCAR on TNT with live coverage of the Pennsylvania 500 for you this afternoon. A round of pit stops under the caution flag just completed, and we're coming to the restart. Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Bobby Labonte, Jamie McMurray, Sterling Marlin, the top 5, followed by Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Tony Stewart, all with just right side tires on their pit stops. Ryan Newman, the dominant leader of the event so far, went for 4 tires. He's going to take the green flag in 10th position.
Now, we know how his car is out front. Let's see how it is in traffic.
There you see the restart line.
Green flag, green flag.
Yes, it. No passing to the inside. You see all those cars. Now, once you get by the start-finish line, you can fan out and start to pass.
Christian Fittipaldi peek into the inside of Mike Wallace. Both those cars a lap down.
Kurt Busch in 97 was able to clear the traffic.
I gave you the first few. Here's the bigger picture on the 2 tires. Jeff Gordon, Joe Nemechek, Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Sterling Marlin, Michael Waltrip, Dale Jr., Jamie McMurray, Bill Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Casey Mears, and Dave Blaney with 2 tires. Among those who got 4, Ryan Newman, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson, Ricky Rudd, Ricky Craven, who made another pit stop later in the caution, Dale Jarrett, Robbie Gordon, Jeremy Mayfield, and the championship leader, Matt Kenseth. Despite getting 4 tires, Kenseth is only running 15th. And 3rd place changes hands.
McMurray, the 42 car, goes by Bobby Labonte. Oh, Sterling trying to get by Mike Wallace, on the inside. Mike gave him the outside.
Yeah, I think Mike was going to get the outside, but Sterling had the rear bumper of the 01 car off the ground. I think it was loose.
Jeff Gordon working on Sterling at 5th place. Interesting to see if we get a long run here, how the guys who took 2 tires fare against some of the guys with 4. Granted, Ryan Newman's been the fastest car all race long, but
now we'll see. We've been talking about the track position and how important it is. This will be a perfect test for it.
Clean air, dirty air. And Newman's back in the dirty air.
There he is, and the lap that they've run on the green, he has not been able to pass a car for position. He restarted behind Junior. Guess what? He's still behind Junior.
Junior will wave at Mike Wallace, the lap car. Thank you for the room. And Jeff Gordon on the move again. Well, actually, just finished the pass on Sterling Marlin. He was trying to make a couple of laps ago.
Finally got the position going into turn 3.
Yep. So Jeff up to 5th position. Tony Stewart just behind Sterling Marlin, next to challenge for a spot. Jeff started the race in 25th position. You know, we were just talking about clean air, dirty air. Ryan Newman being out front so fast and now back in traffic. We talked earlier in the weekend with Jeff Gordon about that same thing, too. His car, it seems like, classically has been one that's been better out in front in clean air than it has been back in traffic in dirty air. We asked him about that earlier in the weekend.
You set the car up based on where you're going to be running, and you know, when our car runs out front, I think maybe because I run a little bit tighter setup in the car, we excel when we get into clean air and can drive away. But we probably need to have the car a little bit freer for traffic, and that's one thing that we're really juggling with for today's race is to get the car as free as we possibly can in traffic, but not so free that if we make it to the front of the field that we can't maintain a car out in front.
And guys, just as a reminder, that is exactly what they did not change to the car when he came in for the pit stop. He was loose in traffic. Robbie Lewis's crew chief asked him if he wanted them to loosen it even more. He said, no, I can't handle that, but don't tighten me up either. I'm going to need it to be a little bit loose to handle in the traffic.
That's the real struggle these teams have today, because by themselves, as Ryan Newman was out in front, the cars are so good because that's how they practice. That's how they tune everything in the wind tunnel. But once they get back in traffic and they start getting air off these other cars, everything changes. How the car handles, how it feels, changes dramatically.
Yeah, they're so dependent on the air. When you're out there by yourself, you've got some cars in between. You've got all that air to yourself. But when you're racing, you don't.
See, Tony Stewart has gotten around Sterling Marlin to pick up 6th place, Matt.
And he is slowly moving his way to the front. Greg Zeffirelli has slowly adjusted that race car. Air pressure and wedge adjustment on the first stop. 2 tires in the last stop, air pressure only. Tony says we're maybe one more adjustment away from really having something. And if that's the case, the guys up front better look out because Stewart's on the move.
And one reason we talk about aerodynamics, one reason that Tony Stewart is able to get by is we see Jimmy Johnson 48, Matt Kenseth in 17 through the tunnel corner side by side. Man, that's back in the, where, 15th, 16th?
Here, yeah. Wow. Pretty strong on the outside there. That's hard to do. Normally the guy on the inside has the advantage in turn 3.
Bill, something going on in Jeff Burton's pit?
Alan, they're working on the jackman, David Cox. They're working on his left ankle area up to his left calf. What you can see is that they're taping it heavily. He thinks he might have pulled a muscle, but just tweaked it a little bit just as they began their last pit stop. So they're going to tape him up and see if he's able to continue. Jeff Burton having a good run today, took 4 tires on the last stop. But David Cox right now being worked on behind pit road.
You know, that's a scene you might think you'd see on the sideline of a football game.
It's exactly what I was thinking. Looks like the sidelines NFL game as Burton drives deep on the inside of Elliott Sadler. Takes over 12th spot.
Fast car today for Jeff Burton. He got 4 tires on that last pit stop. That's why he lost a little track position there. Rusty Wallace is the leader. 3 top 5 finishes here in the last 19 Pocono races. That's all he's had, but all of them have been wins.
Welcome back to the Pocono Raceway. By the way, Pocono is Native American for gap or pass between the mountains. And Rusty Wallace has done a little bit of passing, worked his way to the front, working with a chief engineer this week, Roy McCauley. Here with the team for the first time at the track this year. He's helping crew chief Billy Wilburn on top of the pit box. Rusty said yesterday he likes to help make calls from the car, but he admitted that the driver doesn't know it all. There are some things they can't see. What other teams are doing, what the fuel burn is, so they're looking for a little extra help for Rusty. Tremendous experience, former Winston Cup champ, leading this race with some of the young guns behind him, like Busch, McMurray, a lot of guys chasing Rusty. Marty?
Bill, I hate to even mention this, but it has been 81 races since Rusty Wallace went to victory lane. The longest streak of his career since he got his first win of his career. The last win, California, in April of 2001. Now here's the good news. Rusty took 2 tires on his last stop, and he said the car's even better on 2 tires. Battle on the track, guys.
7th place.
Well, Jeff lost 2 spots, about to lose 3 here.
Junior's through for 7th, and Ryan Newman's through for 8th.
But the question, I don't know if we've answered the question yet on Newman or not, but he changed 4 tires, got back in traffic, and he hasn't been able to go. That's the first car that he's passed, the protected car that he's passed on that Jeff Gordon. Marty?
Same thing for Ryan Newman. BP came on the radio a moment ago. He said, I just cannot maneuver this thing in traffic. And he said, this thing is just a dog down the straightaway. He's been talking about the engine for the last few laps. Said he feels like it's running too lean. Now, my question is, how would that affect him in the car?
I don't think it would affect him at all in the car other than frustrating. Other than frustrating, yeah, not being able to have the horsepower that he needs to go by these guys.
But, you know, that might be a symptom that so many of these races are getting decided on fuel mileage and that whole track position pit strategy thing. Maybe some of these teams are starting to lean the motors out and give up some horsepower for that mileage.
I want our road teammate to help us. I don't know, bud. It's unreal.
I don't know who that was.
Yeah.
Whoa, Jeff Burton got 24 of Jeff Gordon a little bit loose.
And he's going to take that spot from him.
And Jeff is trying to get this 24 car loose enough in traffic to be able to stay up with these guys. It looks like it's a little bit too loose.
See that orange car there in the frame?
He's fast.
He's closing. And quick as we check speeds at the line. Ryan Newman around Dale Jr. Pick up that 6th position. Now he's got a little bit of clean racetrack in front of him.
Yes, he should be okay now.
See what kind of steam he's able to make here in these next few laps before he catches that next bit of traffic. Jeff Green coming back out from the garage. About 20 laps down to race leader Rusty Wallace after transmission repairs on the #1 car.
Well, I know those guys that change the engines are very relieved that it was not a loose line or something, a transmission problem.
Jamie McMurray, Jeremy Mayfield, trouble.
Right front tire is flat on that 19 car. He's made contact with the outside retaining wall.
Caution is out. Debris from the 19 car. Second one of the race. It's almost a replay of what happened to Mayfield last week in New Hampshire, right? Had a right front go down.
Let's see if we can see what might have happened to the 19 car that caused this damage.
Robbie Gordon with him.
Robbie Gordon's going to hook the right rear quarter panel on this 19 and turn him into the wall.
Yep.
On board the singular car of Robbie Gordon.
He's working the outside, getting off of turn 1. It looked like the 19 car was trying to get up.
So let's take a break here while the pace car gathers up the field. We'll have pit stops when we come back in a minute to Pocono. Back at Pocono Raceway, the Pennsylvania 500 under caution for the second time just after 150 miles when Jeremy Mayfield and Robbie Gordon hooked together and Mayfield caught the wall off of turn number 1. Now it's only been 20 laps since those last pit stops. Here we go with the old strategy smorgasbord again.
Oh, yeah, they'll all dive on the pit road. This time, Ryan Newman, my guess is, will change 2.
Yeah, I would think so.
But now these cars in front, how many will change 2? Maybe left sides. How many will change 4? Because they see just how important that track position can be.
It's been about 30 laps on the left side tires for the guys who changed 2 last time. So we'll see. Pit road is open, and here they come. Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Ryan Newman, the top 5 coming in. Matt, you're first.
Kurt Busch will hit first. He says the car is too free in the front, sliding the nose. They're going to change 4 tires, make a left side air pressure adjustment. They're also going to go up a quarter of a pound in the right front. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart, 0.3 of a second faster lap. 4 tires for Stewart. They didn't want to take a chance of going a long run. A lot of laps out on those left sides, Marty.
Leader Rusty Wallace was going to take lefts only, then was going to take 4 tires. They decided on 2 right side tires, 7.7 on the stop, and he keeps the lead, Bill.
It is 2 right side tires for Jeff Burton, already on his way back out. They topped it off with gas. The jackman David Cox did the pit stop. He has a pulled calf muscle.
Dave, Jeff Gordon felt like the 2 tire strategy didn't work. They got 4 this time, down on the left side air, down on the track bar, wedge out of the car. This will help the tightness into the corner, but keep him loose enough in traffic. It was a well-executed 4 tire stop. Alan?
So they continue to clean up some of the debris that's dropped off the Jeremy Mayfield car. And we'll check these cycle of pit stops here in a second. You see Rusty Wallace was off first. Have a little issue on Ryan Newman's pit stop, I'm hearing?
Well, these guys changed 2 tires. Right. Oh, he's got the air hose hung on the front fender. He finally gets the gun and the hose out of the way, and Ryan is able to lead. If he runs over that hose, it is a penalty issued by NASCAR.
Close call, but they got it done. And Newman comes off pit road in 2nd position. Get the field sorted out for you and get ready for the restart when we come back to Pocono.
Still under caution at Pocono. Rusty Wallace, as Marty Snyder talked about earlier this afternoon, 81 races since his last win, but felt he'd have a good shot today. He's getting it done on the track. Here are his guys that are doing the deal on pit road.
Bill Wilburn, crew chief, Kernersville, North Carolina.
Nick Giambruno, Windshield, Long Island, New York.
Dave Lasaw, front tire carrier, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
DJ Richardson, front tire changer, Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
Ken Boatwright, Jackman, Binghamton, New York. David Doyle, rear tire carrier, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Rob Fuller, rear tire changer, Boylston, Massachusetts. Doug Ingo, gas man, Oakboro, North Carolina.
Mike Garrett, catch can, Huntersville, North Carolina.
And those are the guys on pit road behind Rusty Wallace, hoping to get a win here at Pocono. Let's check down pit road with Marty.
And a guy who's hoping to get a win today, too, is Bill Elliott, the man who won here last year, Bill. Made some contact on the racetrack with something. The team has not asked Bill what it was yet. The suspicion is his teammate Jeremy Mayfield. Some carnage from that wreck back there. Had left front fender damage, but they have now fixed that. All they lost was track position, Matt.
Earlier in the race, Elliott Sadler said after the stop, he said it feels twice as bad off the corner loose and twice as tight in. He said, did you guys get the right and the left and the left and the right? He said, no. As we're getting ready to go back to green, what they found was the problem, the pan between the bumper and the radiator, the bolts had ground off enough, that pan had started to fall. They bolted that back in under the stop, Alan.
So Bill Elliott's back in 30th place. Elliott Sadler's back in 33rd. The leader is Casey Mears, and there's trouble. Somebody missed a shift in the front stretch.
Looks like the 77 car, possibly. Dave Blaney may have missed a shift. He's got some damage here on the right rear quarter panel.
Who got into him is a question. What did they do to their car? Gordon and Jr. in the neighborhood. Casey Mears in the 41 is the leader. Casey came to pit road under the green flag at lap 62 for a problem. He and Joe Nemechek had gotten together and cut down Casey's right rear. So he stayed out under this caution. He leads with Rusty Wallace clearing lap traffic and trying to challenge. Remember, Pocono, one of the very few tracks on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit where you can make a pit stop under the green and stay on the lead lap.
It's about like a road course in that manner. Marty, what's going on with 41?
Well, pretty good, VP. Their biggest goal right now is just keeping Casey calm after he had that contact with Joe Nemechek on the track. It caused no damage to his car. They're trying to keep him in front of Rusty Wallace right now as Rusty tries to track him down. Casey, of course, won 2 ARCA races here earlier this week, and based on that, they have decided to run Casey in the rest of the companion events with the NASCAR Busch Series. He'll run in all those events for the rest of the year. They feel like that Saturday experience is helping, Dave.
Well, Marty, that contact with Casey Mears caused left front damage for Joe Nemechek. They fixed all that, but after they changed 4 tires and sent him back out, he thought he had a right side tire going down. They've changed 2, and now the crew is looking it over. They believe they did, in fact, have a right side front tire going down. Bill?
Turn 2, Mark Martin is in the wall. Sliding back in traffic. Man,
that's scary.
And those great race car drivers somehow missed him.
That's the worst feeling for a driver when he's sliding down the racetrack into oncoming traffic. You're just waiting to get hit again.
Caution is out.
Radiator's busted.
3rd time in the race, and Mark Martin driving away.
Anything out? What else is hurt?
He said the radiator is broken, and that...
All right, guys, let's get the toolbox back to the garage. We're going to have to change the radiator and work on the left rear.
I wonder if that's what caused the spin, is water under the tires.
Well, let's just see, BP. No, I think contact.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Looked like him and Earnhardt Jr., and I think he got tagged right there. That's what did it. He saved the car after he got bumped by Earnhardt.
Michael couldn't get
Michael, yeah.
I see, there's where the radiator damage came in, when the left front came around and hit with the outside retaining wall.
Ward Burton just got underneath Mark into the grass. Right along.
Inside.
Yep, he had it saved. He just got a little bump there from Michael Waltrip.
And you hear him trying to start it up right away as soon as he came to rest there. Mark going to the garage, joining Jamie McMurray and Derek Cope, who have taken their cars to the garage recently. McMurray with a transmission problem. Tough break there. He was running in the top 5 earlier in the event. 3rd caution is out in the Pennsylvania 500. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Next weekend, a big weekend of racing from Indianapolis on TNT and NBC. We start Saturday morning with Bud Cole qualifying on TNT. Then the short track NASCAR Busch Series race Saturday night. Going to be a great day then. Next Sunday, the Brickyard 400. Need we say more? NBC 2 Eastern Time. Michael Waltrip with damage from that altercation with Mark Martin is on pit road to get that fixed. Here's a look from Mikey's view.
Michael didn't have too much he could do on that deal.
Clear high.
He had nowhere to go.
Not much he could do about that.
Bill?
Well, Michael Waltrip on pit road now, working on the right side. They thought about just staying out, but then they decided to come on in and work out. He's going to get 4 tires to pull the sheet metal away. Best quote from Michael: gee, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time there. So they work on Michael Waltrip's car. They had just dodged a bullet. He had a left rear going flat on that previous caution. Back to Pocono in a moment.
Back at Pocono Raceway, NASCAR on TNT with the Pennsylvania 500. Coming to the restart with Casey Mears leading Rusty Wallace, Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, and Matt Kenseth. Pit road a moment ago, you saw Michael Waltrip stop. Joe Nemechek and Larry Foyt were also in, as was Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I guess Junior's what, his window net came down or something?
I think it was one of the. I think it was the side glass
on the right side
popped out.
Maybe from the contact with Mark Martin.
Yes, popped it out.
So Junior's back on track. He's all the way down in 32nd position, though, as we take the restart. Christian Fittipaldi and Richard Petty's 43, the first car a lap down. He is back in 33rd position and unable to get a lap back from the leaders. Mark Martin's in the garage. Dave Burns is with him.
And Alan, he is sitting down just in front of his number 6 Taurus. And Mark, what happened out there?
Well, you know, I don't really know. We went into the tunnel turn there, and you'd have thought it was the last lap. I got hit twice, and the second time was too much for me. Junior made a real last-minute move to jump on the inside of me going into that turn, and so we bumped, and I slowed down, and I guess Michael ran in the back of me. He couldn't help it at that point, but that's what caused me the wreck, was a hit from behind.
How bad's the damage? Can you get back out?
I don't know.
They're working hard on it, guys, right now. And again, victory eludes Mark Martin at Pocono.
And when you're sitting there as a driver and they're fixing the car, you hope they don't get back out. I mean, you know you got to go back and run for points, but there's nothing worse than taking a race car out that's going to be slow. You're going to be in the way, but you've got to go out and run for the points. But for a driver, he's sitting there saying to himself, man, I hope they don't get this thing put together.
Rusty Wallace for the lead.
He finally gets position on Casey Mears, goes for the lead, gets it. Here comes Burton, that 99 car. He also has position on Casey Mears and moves in the second spot.
So Wallace out in front for the third time today. Casey Mears shuffled back to third, Marty.
And they told Casey on the radio, go ahead and give him the lead and then fall back into third position. They are faster than you are. Let him go.
Front, about 10, 11 cars shuffled out single file. Here comes Newman for third place on Casey Mears.
And everyone talked about this morning in the garage area how fast the 99 car Jeff Burton was. He's up in second spot. We'll see if he can get by Rusty. As Newman gets by Mears, that goes into third.
Newman, one of the drivers that got just right side tires on that last pit stop at lap 69. Here comes Junior trying to make up some of that lost track position. Bill?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on pit road during that last caution. They asked several drivers to look at his right and rear quarter panel. They said if he went in the turns and it traveled at all, it would be rubbing. So they came in to work on that, gave him some tires. They also had to tighten the window in the right-hand side of the car, and it had come loose. Why? They don't know. They said the racing gods are after him today.
I think it probably came loose when he made contact with that 6 car. Probably a good chance that that thing popped out when they hit.
See Todd Bodine on the bottom going under Ken Schrader. Here comes Nemechek, the 25 car, and here comes Burton.
Wow.
Those guys were not lying. He is fast.
For the race lead. Jeff looking to go out front for the first time today. And so Jeff Burton out in front. You know, before today, Burton had led 3 races for only 22 laps this whole season. 10 of those last week in New Hampshire. But he's looking for his 3rd straight top 10 finish. Here's a team that's really turned a corner. Actually, he's looking for his 4th straight top 10 finish, I beg your pardon. Got his 3rd straight last week.
They have made a lot of progress with that 99 car. Jeff, Paul Andrews, Brad Parrott, that entire crew.
And remember, he was in that crash last week in New Hampshire. It still came back for a top 10. How about Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, and Sterling Marlin for 10th, 11th, and 12th?
Sterling got the position.
And as you said earlier, when they go in this tunnel corner, it's not really wise to try to go in on the outside, because if there's ever been a 1-lane corner, this is it.
Yeah, this kind of reminds you of Darlington when you go into turn 1. The guy on the inside, you normally just, if you're on the outside, you got to roll out of the throttle and give it to him, because that outside line gets real narrow and it's real slippery.
Oh, man. How about a ball game? TBS Tuesday, the Braves and the Houston Astros from Atlanta, 7:30 Eastern. Kind of looked like my dad's backyard windows when I was growing up. I got to it before you could throw me under the bus.
Well, you couldn't throw hard enough to break a window.
I don't know about that. Robbie Gordon is running in 20th place. That's the gang behind him. Junior trying to make up that lost track position.
Thought he had position on Spencer in the 7 car, but not quite. Meanwhile, back there behind is Bill Elliott in the 9 car trying to fight his way back to the front. These guys are back in 25th, 26th.
Let me mention a couple things here quickly. Jamie McMurray back on track after the garage repairs. He's only 9 laps down, so a good job by his team. He's 37th place. John Andretti was on pit road forever, getting some work done to his car. He's back on track, but he's 12 laps down in 39th. 7th place.
And Mark Martin's crew has decided to park the 6 car. The damage is too much to repair.
Done for the day. Derek Hope is out. Fuel pump problems. Morgan Shepherd has retired his car with handling woes. Jeff Burton leads. Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace are chasing him. And we are just past 200 miles of the Pennsylvania 500 at Pocono.
Jeff Burton continues to lead here at Pocono, having a very impressive run. They had a great car here, has performed very well on the track and along pit road. Jeff Burton had 3 top 10 finishes in the first 16 races this season. He has 3 top 10s in the last 3 races, hoping to get back to victory lane for the first time since Phoenix in 2001. For Jeff Burton, that is a long time ago, 59 races. He's trying to get it done on the track. Here are the guys that are going to help him get it done on pit road.
Paul Andrews, crew chief, Concord, North Carolina.
I'm Jason Myers. I do the windshield, and I'm from Arvada, Colorado.
My name's Ryan Biscaglio, front tire carrier from Lake Worth, Florida.
Donnie Brown, front tire changer, Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
David Cox, jackman, Statesville, North Carolina. Chip Dude, rear tire carrier, Statesville, North Carolina.
Richard Boyles, rear tire changer, High Point, North Carolina. Joe Kowsinski, gas man, Spotswood, New Jersey.
Eric Slade, catch can, Hillsdale, Michigan.
All those guys on Burton's pit crew, but David Cox may be done for the day, the jackman. He has a pulled left calf. So the team went to the 6th team and got Chris Webb, the guy that normally jacks the car for Mark Martin. The 6th team is out of the race. These are both Jack Roush-owned teams. So Chris Webb comes over to the 99 and becomes the most valuable jackman for this team at this point, with Jeff Burton really leading his most competitive laps so far this year. Car slowing on the backstretch, Alan.
Yeah, going off the pace, Bill. It is Kyle Petty who is slowing down. Will he make it back around to pit road? He's inside of turn 3. That's an access lane they use to the inside of the racing surface in the corner. Question is he going to make it back around to pit road?
Looks like he might have enough speed to coast back to pit road. Then he can get pushed the rest of the way. Dave, what's going on with 45?
He can't get the car in gear, guys. Having trouble just getting the thing in gear. It'll run, and they were really happy with it because the car had been extremely tight. They put a rubber in the right rear and made an air pressure wedge adjustment. The car was really good, but now he can't find a gear.
I think he's going to make it to pit road anyway. And so we should be able to stay under green. All right, 2nd place. Tony Stewart's been charging up toward the front.
Yeah, Tony Stewart might have right now even a better car than Jeff Burton, the 99 car. But he's 3rd spot. Starting 33rd just does something to you. It takes a long time to fight your way through all these cars. 90 laps into this thing, and he's up to 3rd spot.
And where he's gaining on these guys, like we talked about earlier, he's out the bottom of the racetrack. These other cars seem to slide up the track, especially in turn 1. He makes up a lot of time in turn 1. He can run down low, and all the other guys slide up into about the middle to the top lane of the racetrack.
And we talk about aerodynamics all the time. Watch as Rusty Wallace and Tony Stewart goes in the corner. Rusty's going to go up the racetrack. Tony Stewart's going to stay on that white line, so he's able to get air on that car to give him the downforce to help the car handle.
Enough to get alongside.
Yes, sir.
I noticed you hesitated to make that call, though.
Well, it's tough when you are on the inside because a lot of times the car on the outside has more momentum getting off of turn 1. So you'll see a lot of times where that car will be right up alongside the guy. He's on the bottom, but that car up in the high lane pulls forward.
Remember last week in New Hampshire? Those two, Rusty Wallace and Tony Stewart, weren't necessarily seeing eye to eye on that particular issue. Rusty squeezed up into the wall in front of Tony, took the back bumper cover off. They rubbed one way. Tony came back, rubbed the other way. Don't you love it? Tony by Rusty for his second spot, and he's now got 2.8 seconds to make up to catch Jeff Burton.
And most of that you just saw was done under the caution flag at about 50 miles per hour. You don't want to fool around these cars at 170, 80.
Here comes your championship leader, Matt Kenseth, looking for fourth spot on Ryan Newman. Matt finished third here in the race 7 weeks ago in June. Qualified well, 9th place. They don't normally time trial all that well at 17 bunch.
And once again, he and Robbie Reiser put together a great race car for this weekend as he goes by Newman, takes over 4th position.
So Kenseth up another spot to 4th and Ryan Newman to 5th. Kurt Busch right there joining that fight in 6th place. Coming up on halfway in the Pennsylvania 500 through the field. When we come back, Jeff Burton is the race leader, and you're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Jeff Burton pacing the field here, but they have told him from pit road that the 20 car of Tony Stewart is coming and coming fast. Burton on the radio as we speak with his crew. They should be in just past lap 105. Then they might be able to go the rest of the way. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens on maybe one more stop. Let's take you through the field. They're all chasing the 99. Tony Stewart's in second. We'll go to Matt Yoakum.
And Tony Stewart is turning laps about 0.4 of a second faster than Jeff Burton. The only comments he's made over the radio, he told brake specialist Jason Shapiro, too much rear brake when we started out with. Put that in your notes. The car's a little bit tight, Marty.
Matt, they're telling Rusty Wallace on the radio, be smooth, we'll keep the track position we have. Currently in the 3rd position for Rusty Wallace. The last time he took on left side tires, lap 34. Will be a 4-tire stop next time, Matt.
A 2-tire change for Matt Kenseth on his last stop. The only comments he's made, the car is still a little bit tight down in turn 4, turn 1. Besides that, the car is just a little bit tight.
Ryan Newman a lot happier, Matt, in this clean air up front. Currently in the 5th position for Newman. A little loose off turn 3. The only concern, they had a little debris on the grill earlier. Temperature shot up, but it's fine now, Matt.
They've worked the push out of the 97 car of Kurt Busch. Meanwhile, the 18 of Bobby Labonte. He says the car just does not seem to like going forward. They don't like the adjustment they made in the last stop. They're talking about going back on the next one, Bill.
Solid run for Sterling Marlin. The car was tight. Last time in, they made a track bar adjustment. They told him he's running the same speeds as the leaders. Tony Glover reminded him, you could have a top 5 car. Dave?
Remember, they made a series of adjustments to try to help Jeff's car. It's okay on the entry now. He's pretty loose off everywhere, though, especially turn 3. Marty?
Dave, Jimmy Johnson back in the 10th position, loose getting into 1. The problem they're having, the car's not reacting to the changes that they're making to it on pit road. Chad Cannell said, I'd be happy to finish right where I am. Alan?
Jeff Burton, the race leader, as we approach halfway. The race for the championship, Matt Kenseth running well today, though you see Tony Stewart closing in on Jeff Burton, starting to put some pressure on that top spot. There's your championship leader, Kenseth.
He has moved into the 3rd spot, going by Rusty Wallace.
While his rivals for the title, Jeff Gordon, runs in 9th position, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 20th after that extra pit stop on the last caution. Let's continue going through the field. How about 11th place, Terry Labonte, Dave?
Alan, he's 2/3 good right now at Pocono. Good in turns 1 and 2. A little bit loose off of turn 3. They took some air pressure out of the right rear to try to help him on the last pit stop. Alan?
Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
Goodbye.
And I think Jeff saw how quick the 20 was coming and just let him go.
Well, watching the scoring monitor in the booth, he's been out running about 3 to 4/10, as Matt Yoakum told you just a moment ago. 3 to 4/10 of a second per lap. Now, this is the 20 car that we saw yesterday morning in the practice session.
Don't forget Tony Stewart won here back in June, trying to make it a sweep of 2003 of Pocono races. We were going through the field before we jumped to that pass for the lead. Let's chug back on into it. How about the 41 car, Marty?
Yes, we were, Alan. We were getting ready to talk about young Casey Mears having one of his best career runs. His career best finish to this point, 15th at Las Vegas. His car's a little bit tight. Now remember, he's off schedule from everyone else, so he has to pit in about 4 laps, Dave.
The 16 car, Greg Biffle, still a little bit loose, but a lot better than barely fair, which is what they thought they might be today. Greg said the track is a little bit slippery all the way around. Matt?
Kevin Harvick's battling a loose race car. He's also battling a hot race car. He told his crew chief, Todd Berry, you're going to need to pull some tape off. I asked Todd, how hot is it? I really don't want to know. He won't tell me, Dave.
A couple of problems for Tony Raines. Loose everywhere, but turn 2 where he's a little bit tight. They took a spring rubber out of the left rear to try to help him in that turn on the last pit stop. Bill?
It's been a good day so far for Dave Blaney, currently running in the 16th spot. Has not produced the results they were hoping for this season, but could get himself a top 10 here this afternoon, Marty.
Bill Del Jarrett's car is much better from lap 54 when he described it as absolutely wicked under braking. Then it was a little loose. Now the car's gotten a little bit tight, and he's picked up some spots up to 17th, Bill.
Ricky Rudd making his 700th consecutive start, as we talked about throughout the day. Last time it was the crew in the starring role. His pit stop 13.5. He's a little free off the turns. Marty?
Bill Elliott still fuming from the contact on pit road he made with Elliott Sadler and Jimmy Johnson. He has said nothing since then, but Ray Evernham, who is spotting for him today, not his normal spotter, says the car is the best it's been all day. They are happy with it right now. They expect no changes on the next stop, Bill.
Well, Michael Waltrip's had good and bad moments during the day. His crew spotted a left rear going flat from pit road while the car was under green. Then the caution came out. They came in and got that fixed. Then he got caught up in that wreck with Mark Martin. He's back in the 19th spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. lost numerous positions, also involved in that on-track altercation. Had some damage to the left rear, also had the right side window coming loose. They came and adjusted it for him. He's 21st right now, back in the field.
Here comes Casey Mears, going to give up his top 10 spot on the racetrack for a pit stop. Actually, he was just falling outside of the top 10 just before coming in, and he's headed down toward Marty Snyder. Marty?
Yeah, and remember, they're just a little bit off from everyone else. He brings it down pit road speed. It'll be 4 tires. They're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment for Casey's car. His car has been just a little bit tight today. That's what they've been fighting, but a nice run for this young man. Remember, he's running in 3 races this weekend, this being the 3rd of 3. If he completes all the laps, he'll run to close to 1,000 miles here at Pocono this weekend, guys.
But Casey Mears was far enough back that as he makes his pit stop, here comes the leader, Tony Stewart. He will go a lap down.
Now he just needs to hope the race stays green till everybody else comes in, which should happen about another 5 laps from now. So let's take a break. We're just across the halfway point of the Pennsylvania 500 at Pocono.
The Pennsylvania 500 from Pocono Raceway on TNT is brought to you by Ford. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. Pizza Hut. The DVD's on us when you buy a large pizza, only from Pizza Hut. And Discover Card. It pays to discover.
Better than 100,000 here on top of Mount Pocono today, Pocono Raceway, for the running of the Pennsylvania 500. How about our little Sing of the Race Talk poll? Think we dial that up here now? Sure. Question is, what song was #1 when Ricky Rudd began his streak of 700 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup starts January 11th, 1981?
Who in the gang? Pat Benatar, John Lennon, Bruce Springsteen.
All right, I have a pick. I'll file that away.
Okay.
While he's writing his down, we'll put it in the hermetically sealed envelope.
Okay.
Cast your vote. We'll have the results in a little while. Tony Stewart's the race leader, the 9th different driver to lead the Pennsylvania 500. Tony started 33rd today and has methodically worked his way to the top spot. That was 4th place changing hands.
Sterling Marlin, the 40 Coors Light, has a very fast race car today. But he's a long way right now behind the leader, Tony Stewart, about 7.5 seconds.
A couple of quick updates. Ricky Craven and Steve Park have been on pit road under the green flag a little bit ago. Now just recently, after Casey Mears' stop that we showed you, Park came in again, along with Greg Biffle, Todd Bodine, and Dave Blaney. None of the lead cars have come in. Kyle Petty we saw coasting onto pit road a little while ago. Dave Burns reported was having trouble selecting a gear. They have gone to the garage to change the transmission in the 45 car.
Looks like Newman's struggling here a little bit.
Yes, he is. Labonte has gotten by.
Ricky Rudd is in.
77 car. He stopped and changed tires.
Yep, he did.
Here he goes.
Superman, that cape just flying out the back.
And Ricky Rudd rejoins the chase. Here comes Ryan Newman. Peeling off. 7th spot he gives up here to come to pit road. And so we should see Rusty Wallace in fairly soon. Got the word that he and Rusty were going to pit fairly close together. Ryan Newman has led more laps than anyone else today so far. Marty?
Their plan was to pit together, he and his teammate Rusty Wallace, but Ryan could not stand it any longer. One of the problems is they do have some debris on the grill. They need to pull some tape off of the grill. The water's running a little bit hot for Ryan. The car's a little bit tight. Now the car being tight, they'll pull that tape off the grill. That will actually hurt their chassis because that will make the car tighter. So what they've done, 1 round out of the left rear wedge, 3 rounds in the right rear. Big adjustments for Ryan Newman on the stop in 4 tires.
Yep, they're going to have to compensate a little bit for taking that tape off. That tape is going to hurt the downforce in the front.
And you saw the pass for 2nd place, while we also saw the pit stop as Matt Kenseth has overtaken his teammate Jeff Burton.
But it looks like that Newman is going to be able to stay on the lead lap in case there would be a caution flag before the leaders hit.
Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace, and a pair of Dodges in. Jeff Gordon is also in. Bill?
Sterling Marlin takes the Coors Light Dodge into his pit stall. This is a simple 4-tire stop. The car's been very good since they made their track bar adjustment on the previous stop. Right side's on, around to the left, have an easy out. Marty?
Rusty Wallace tight, no one in front of him, no one behind him, easy in, easy out. They go a 1/4 pound in the right rear tire, very small adjustment, up 1 round on the track bar. Rusty very happy. A long time on the rear tires though. He'll lose a lot of track position on pit road.
See Jeff Gordon coming back onto the track. Dave, what'd they do to his car?
Well, he said the car never really tightened up for him, so he has to make a wedge and an air pressure adjustment to try to tighten that car up on this stop. 4 tires. Matt?
And Tony Stewart on his way down pit road. The 17 at Kenseth going to his stall as well. Look for a wedge adjustment. Yep. Shaggy puts the wedge wrench in the back window. They're going to make a wedge adjustment. The car is just a tick tight. Tony barely wanted an adjustment. At the 17 also an air pressure adjustment. They went up in the right rear. No other changes for Kenseth. Stewart's down and away. There goes Kenseth.
Oh, what a great stop. 13, just a shade over 13 seconds for Kenseth and his crew. And look at the distance that he gained on the 20 car. Bill.
Jeff Burton's on his way off of pit road. It was a 4-tire stop, made a track bar and air pressure adjustment. Took 2 tires on their last stop. That tightened up the car. They used Chris Webb from the 6 to jack the car. And what I was trying to point out earlier is they should try to make it now on just 2 more stops. We'll have to see what the fuel mileage is.
So Jeff Burton rejoins the chase. Jimmy Johnson has also been on and off pit road. Marty, what'd they do to his car?
The very fast stop for the Lowe's Bunch Allen. They came down pit road tight for Jimmy Johnson. They went up on the track bar 2 rounds, put 2 rounds of wedge also in. Chad Knaus very frustrated with his car today because it's not reacting to changes. Matt?
Kurt Busch in for service as well. They're trying to get the track bar wrench in, going to make a track bar adjustment. Still a little bit on the tight side also. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment more in the right front. They went a 1/4 pound in the last stop. Going to go a 1/2 pound this stop.
And we saw some trouble on the right front tire on that stop. Slowed him down a couple of seconds.
Jimmy Spencer also in. And now the leader is Michael Waltrip. Yet to make his stop.
Check the teammates side by side down the front straightaway. Ryan Newman, the 12 on the inside of Rusty Wallace. Oh, slide job.
And I'll tell you where I've noticed where Newman is making up a lot of time is getting in to the pits. He smokes it down into the beginning of pit lane, and visually you can see how much faster he is than all these other guys. He's making up a lot of ground.
You see Rusty wave it at Ryan down the backstretch. I guess he was referring to the slide job.
By the way, on the ticker, top of the screen, names in yellow, those who have made a pit stop in this round. Names in white, they've not been on pit road yet on this turn of the cycle. Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Top 2 along with Joe Nemechek. Those 3 primarily have not pitted yet. Then things going to turn back over to Tony Stewart. Then you get Ward Burton, who's not stopped. Before Kenseth, Jeff Burton, Sterling Marlin, and some of the others that we watched come in a moment ago. So Kyle Petty just came back out of the garage, rejoined the race. So Kyle 22 laps down, back in 39th position after the transmission repairs. Tell you what, these extra laps on fuel for Michael and Dale Jr. might make a difference.
Well, right now they've got to run, I don't know that they can do it, but he can run about another 10 laps. He might be able to go the rest of the way. Maybe not even 10 laps.
If they can get 43, right, that's 86.
So he's got to run
2 more.
4 more, 3 more laps or so.
If they can run 43.
If they can run 43. And they might be able to. He might be able to make it on 1 more stop. Everyone I think that has stopped so far has got to make at least 2 more stops to finish the race.
You okay with my math there?
I mean, if the rain doesn't come in. I mean, it's cloudy here in Pocono. They've been talking about rain.
Don't see any around, but we are past halfway. So anything can happen. Then we have overheard, our spotters have overheard some communication, some of the team people saying that they're looking out for rain showers in the area, but from here, our view in the tower, we can't really see anything coming across the horizon. We'll see. It's the Poconos. Don't like the weather? Wait 10 minutes. It'll change.
Well, the 25 car just blew through their pits.
And the 25 car slid past his pit, and they're going to go down on the track bar, which is going to tighten up that car just a little bit. It was loose for Joe. New front tire carrier, too. Mike Harold has stepped over because Kevin Singapoos cut his finger when they were repairing this left front damage. He's okay, but Harold takes over now, rolling that tire back across the wall. They will change 4 for Joe and get him back on track. He could possibly also do this on 1 more stop, guys, like you were talking about.
88 laps, so that's 44 apiece twice for Joe Nemechek.
That's a bunch. Sterling Marlin, Bobby Labonte is back about the 7th, 8th position. Sterling has 7th. Bobby Labonte holding firmly onto that 8th spot. Wanting 7th.
Nice run for Sterling so far. Remember, they've had right front issues the last couple of weeks at New Hampshire and Chicago that have cost him good finishes. In fact, he's finished fairly poorly the last couple of weeks in a row. Marlin led the most laps here at Pocono back in June, but only got a 6th place finish out of it.
Labonte trying to go by on the outside.
It looked like Labonte might have a little bit more horsepower than that 40 car. He picked up about 3 car lengths there on the straightaway.
Still waiting on the pit stops for Michael Waltrip and Dale Jr. Not this lap. Mikey's going by again, Bill.
Yeah, what they're doing, both the 15 and the 8, Alan, is they're trying to stretch it. Michael could come in on lap 115 and then Junior a lap or 2 later. But both teams are trying to stretch it, get the maximum amount out of the fuel they have in the car now, so they only have to make 1 more stop. So this could be their final stop. The question is, will they run out of gas while they're out there now?
And this is one racetrack that you definitely do not want to run out of fuel. The turns being banked as low as they are, it's hard to coast back around from the, as a matter of fact, you can't coast from the front straightaway all the way around the racetrack and get back to pit road. Even on the backstretch, you have to slow down the tunnel corner, and it's an eternity making it back to pit road.
So if we don't see a caution from now to the finish, here we go with the fuel mileage playing into the factor of deciding a race again. How do you guys feel about...
He's making another lap.
How do you guys feel about this, the fact that we're seeing a lot of these races decided on fuel mileage?
Hey,
the fastest car doesn't win necessarily.
I'm fine with it. That means it's Slugger, Richie Gilmore.
Don't be close.
Don't be close. Means that Richie Gilmore, the head engine guy on this 15 car, Slugger Labby, Michael Walters, they're all working together to be able to get this mileage.
Yeah, no caution yet.
I'd rather see 10 or 15 guys racing for the win.
Uh-oh. I heard him say no caution yet. The 32 car, Ricky Craven.
He shut her down.
He is slow.
Trying to find a place to get off the racetrack. NASCAR is radioing to Ricky Craven's team that there are a couple of places where he can turn off the speedway on the backside of the course and allow the race to remain under green. He's coming up to one of them now, out by the second corner. Just past that turn, there's a entrance there where some of the safety vehicles park. Let's see if Craven makes that left turn. That's the access road there.
Yeah, I don't.
And then see where the safety trucks are parked.
Going pretty fast to make that turn.
Now they'll probably try to get him to turn in here so he doesn't have to coast all the way around the racetrack. And they would push the car through the infield, but nope, he didn't make that corner.
He's not going to make it back around. So now, if you're Michael Waltrip's team, if I was in my fuel window, I'd dive in here under green because you're going to stay on the lead lap, then everybody's going to pit behind you. Almost like a road course thing, right? If you can predict when the caution's going to come out.
Yeah, if he doesn't run out, depends how close he is.
He's going to have to pit pretty soon anyway.
I'd hit it right here. Here he comes. And the 8 with him. Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are going to try and see if they can take advantage of a potential caution and maybe go from here to the finish on just one more stop for fuel. Bill.
Michael Waltrip will hit first, around to the right side. Going to be 4 tires for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They told Jr. when he came on pit road, glad to see you, glad you could make it. Around to the left side, Michael gets 4. All the fuel that Jeff Opel can shove into that car is what they want. Around to the left side, also on the 8. Jr. getting all the fuel he can. They're both away. Look out for the... Like the 23 going by there?
Yeah. It was Kenny Wallace who just came off pit road after a lengthy stop on his car. Caution is out.
Caution is coming out. Caution's coming out. Leader just now in 3. We're way in front of him.
So they stay on the lead lap. The caution comes out for Ricky Craven's stalled car. And Tony Stewart, the leader, comes back to the yellow, letting Mike Wallace get a lap back. That'll put Mike Wallace now 1 lap down instead of 2. So, if everybody else pits here, just trying to keep up with this strategy thing as it's evolving, guys. If everybody else pits here, they can go the rest of the way on one more stop, too.
Not all of them can't, no. Not all of them can run 40 laps. Some of them can only run about 35, 36 laps.
But Michael and Dale will definitely stay out, and they'll run first and second when we restart this thing. Cover the pit stops when we come back in a minute. Back at Pocono Raceway, the leaders coming to pit road for stops as we near the 300-mile mark of the Pennsylvania 500. Tony Stewart leading the field in.
And Ricky Craven's car was pushed, and he's coasting down pit road. He's going to be in somebody's pit. Matt.
Tony Stewart leads Matt Kenseth into his pit stall. At this juncture, look for a 2-tire change for both Stewart and Kenseth. Stewart wanting a half a pound back in that right front tire. 17, 20 your way, Bill.
It was 2 right side tires for Jeff Burton. Had to sneak past Johnny Benson. They told Burton to wait for the fuel. He did. Hardy.
A wicked fast stop for Ryan Newman's bunch. They had the advantage of the first pit stall, but I don't know if it got him the lead off or not. A little loose all the way around for Ryan. 1 round down on the track bar, Dave.
A 2-tire stop for Terry Labonte. Mike Bumgarner and Murray Tim changed them flawlessly, filled it with fuel, sent him back out. Alan?
How about that camera with the race off of pit road? Let's see who got there first.
Well, let's see. It's Newman. Sir. Over Tony Stewart. Over Matt Kenseth. Here comes Jeff Burton. And that's a real battle between Sterling Marlin and Labonte. Looks like Marlin might have gotten it.
So Ryan Newman's crew gets him the lead off the pit stops, but Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr. How about their little strategy play? Back at Pocono Raceway, the Pennsylvania 500 on TNT, just at its 300-mile mark. Michael Waltrip is the race leader. Let's check the results of today's Singular Race Talk poll. The #1 record when Ricky Rudd began his streak of 700 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup starts, January 11th, 1981. My friend Wally picked it correctly. It was B.
Hit me with your best shot, BP.
All right.
That's what you picked? That's what they used to.
No, that's what the people think. I'm sorry. The actual answer is C. You lose.
Well, I was with the majority anyway, and that's what's really important.
Well, that's what they used to say when they were racing against Wallace.
I never even heard of starting over.
Hit me with your best shot.
Uh-oh.
Ricky Rudd's 700th consecutive race is going to end shy of the finish line. He has stopped out on course, and you can see being pushed there by the safety workers. Also, during this caution flag, a slightly demented fan ran out of the infield across the racetrack between the start-finish line and turn 1 and has disappeared into the woods, though he will shortly be apprehended by the authorities and appropriately dealt with.
Pennsylvania's finest, Will.
Yes. What was it you said before? Have a nice night in jail?
Yeah, that's it.
Very good. Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. did not pit under the yellow, along with Joe Nemechek. The Pennsylvania 500 coming to a restart here at Pocono Raceway, live on TNT. After the exchange of pit stops, Michael Waltrip taking the lead. We talked about the strategy before.
I mean, I think that he's okay. He's golden. He and Junior can probably make it the rest of the way. I'm just not too sure about some of those cars behind him, like Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth.
Waltrip and Earnhardt Jr. not stopping under this caution flag, taking over the top 2 spots, along with Joe Nemechek, who runs 3rd. He also didn't stop. Don't forget, next weekend, a lot of action from Indy for you. Bud Pole qualifying from the Brickyard Saturday at 11 Eastern. The NASCAR Busch Series race from the Indianapolis Raceway Park short track next Saturday night. Both of those on TNT. And then the Brickyard 400 next Sunday on NBC at 2 Eastern time. Of course, we begin with Discover Card Countdown to Green. And if you miss the countdown, you start a lap down. Matt, Kurt Busch, a long stay on pit road under the yellow.
He made 2 stops. Jimmy Finnick, what's wrong with the car?
Well, we think we got a chain hung up, the droop limiter in the right front, so we came in and took it off. So hopefully that's it, but it didn't look good on the racetrack.
Let me add to the list of guys who did not pit under that caution, Ward Burton in the 22. So he's up to 4th spot now as we go back racing. First car off pit road, Ryan Newman in the 12. Look at Tony Stewart, 3 wide, in between the lap car of Steve Park and Ryan Newman.
But the hole closed before Tony Stewart could get by Newman. And Jamie McMurray, the lap car, is driven by Michael Waltrip.
Well, Jamie's 8 laps down after that time he spent in the garage having the transmission repaired on his car. I'm sure Michael would like to see him just get gone and get out of the way so Michael can have... Oh, trouble, turn 3. Jeff Gordon is in it. Caution flag is out.
That looks about like the deck.
Oh, he's got big problems.
Yeah, big problems because the wheel.
Pretty hard with that right side then, Jeff.
See, the left front wheel's going due south.
I can't go anywhere.
And the right front's going due west.
Second place driver in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship lost some ground at New Hampshire last weekend when they took 4 tires on the last stop and couldn't gain back any of the lost ground. And now here today at Pocono, he's in the wall with 76 laps to go.
So we can see what happened to Jeff Gordon caused this. Never see Gordon on the inside.
Looks like he got a little tap there once from the 77. Oh, they just checked up in front of him. 43 of Christian Fittipaldi checked up in front of him. Jeff Gordon checked up. But the problem is when you're that stacked up and you're in that tight of traffic, you can't see too far ahead of you, and it looked like those guys just got in the back of him.
Yeah, just kind of accordion together.
Yeah.
On board with Kurt Busch. We can watch the wreck unfold and listen.
Been in front of you, buddy. Just stay right there. Come on. Come on. You're clear all around. Good job, buddy. Good job. On to south.
Yellows breed yellows? Is that what you say, BP?
Yeah, I'm telling you, do they ever.
So Gordon out of his car, make the trip to the care center for the mandatory checkup, and Robbie Loomis and company will jump on that thing, see if they can fix it, get back out and make some more laps. Yellow flag out on the Pennsylvania 500 for the 5th time here on TNT.
TNT Mondays. TV Guide calls calls it the best news show on television, and A, riveting. Television's best news series is now on TNT. Hometown, Mondays at 10, only on TNT.
Under caution here at Pocono after Jeff Gordon's crash in the Pennsylvania 500. We check our Chevy leaderboard, and it's a pretty good day for the bow ties. Gordon accepted right now. 4 of the top 5, and another farther down in the top 10. Chevrolet's running very strongly today here at Pocono. Well, Robbie Loomis and the boys going to jump on that car, see if they can get it fixed and get Jeff Gordon back out. If things finish as they are now, he's going to lose even more ground to Matt Kenseth. He was 234 points down coming into the race. That's as they run. It would be only Jeff Gordon's 3rd race in 22 tries that he's failed to finish here at Pocono. One of the pioneers of NASCAR racing was lost this week. Pioneer in a different way. Bob Latford was a publicist and historian of the sport. He passed away Wednesday after an illness. Latford was one of the early drum beaters for the game, getting out and turning out folks to the racetrack before there were more folks coming to the racetrack than there were tickets available. And he's also the man responsible for creating the system used to determine the NASCAR Winston Cup champion. It's a long story, but the short of it is he created it on a napkin in the Boot Hill Saloon in Daytona Beach. Bob Latford, we'll miss you.
Witness a dream.
NASA wants to send us into space.
40 years in the making.
Shoot this baby to the moon.
Space Cowboys, next on TNT.
Back at Pocono, 128 of 200 laps complete. The clouds have moved in, but sunny on some guys right now, like Michael Waltrip. Chief Slugger Labby, how's your car?
It's been loose all day long. You know, it's been a crazy day for the Napa Chevrolet. We had a flat tire on lap 69, got in a wreck on lap 75, and you know, our plan when we started the race was to come every 38 to 40 laps, and we've been on that plan, and we can make it one more stop from here, so everything's going pretty good. But it's been a crazy day so far.
It has been a wild day. The field just got 1 to go last time by, and we go to Matt.
Tony Stewart runs in fifth. Rex Zipadelli, insurance policy, these caution flag laps and making it one more stop, or are you already good to go?
I'm not as nervous as I was. It's going to be close. We're just debating whether to try and go to 61 now and shorten me up at the end, or try and, you know, we need to get a lap here, so we're not sure which way we're going to go. We're figuring on these fuel mileage, the caution, to see how much it helped our fuel mileage, kind of comparing it to some of the runs before, and it's fluctuating a little bit. So we're close. I think most people on pit road that didn't just duck back in are going to be real close.
Their teammate Bobby Labonte's in the same boat. Marty?
Matt Borland, do these caution flag laps put Ryan Newman within the window to make it on one more stop?
We'll just have to see. Right now, we're looking at 2 more stops for the Mobil 1 Dodge, but hopefully maybe another yellow here. We might be able to make it on 1 more. We'll just have to see.
A lot of talk about the weather. The 12 team's going to be about 3 laps short, Alan.
Wow. Well, do you come in? Do you gamble and come in right now as they get the green and top off and hope it goes green and hope it works out, or do you roll the dice and go?
I think they've just kind of made their bed. They've got to lay in it right now. They're going to stay on the racetrack.
I think you got the field bunched up, and cautions breed caution. So you stay out there, see if a yellow happens behind you. And those extra caution laps give you a chance to
what everybody's doing.
Get it done. All right, green flag, Michael Waltrip leads. Dave Burns is with Jeff Gordon, not on the track.
No, Alan, he's just been released from the infield care center. Jeff, tell us your perspective, what happened in that wreck.
Well, you know, restart and you're all bottled up. There's a few lap cars on the inside, and I shot to the inside of a few other cars and made 1 or 2 positions up, and was just kind of sliding the outside lane, and I was behind Schrader, and he slowed up, I slowed up, and just changed direction. I think somebody got in the back of me, so kind of made a bad day go really bad. We weren't very good. You know, we started the race and drove up through a lot of positions, but once we got up there, you know, we just couldn't get the balance on the car. It's the same thing we've been struggling with all weekend. So kind of a tough day for the DuPont Chevrolet, but you know, we'll just see what we can do with it and go from here.
And you're okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. You know, it hit harder than I thought it was going to hit, but because I slowed it down a bunch with the throttle, but it wasn't that bad of a hit.
We're glad you're all right, Jeff. Alan?
Jeff Gordon's in the garage. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is taking the lead on his radio moments ago. He knows it has the potential to be a good day in the championship.
Bye-bye.
right. He got into the 24 over here and put him in the wall off of 3. Hell yeah, it's a point for June Dog here. Good opportunity, good opportunity. I just hate how much I give up getting through the tunnel. I was rocking through there earlier today, and now I'm just like everybody else, a little slower late in the run. Instead, I give up and be more comfortable at 3, I guess.
Well, I was going to say how happy a driver is when a guy you're racing with points has trouble. But Dale Jr., you could hear the happiness in his voice.
Obviously, Joe Nemechek got by Michael Waltrip. So is Gene Nemechek a player now after the trouble he's had?
I was just saying points on Jeff Gordon, but Matt Kenseth still running 7th and still with a healthy lead in the championship coming into today's race.
And there he goes. Kenseth, we just talked about him. He's trying to go by Newman to take over 6th. They're getting to the point now they don't give up these positions as easily as they do those first few laps.
Not too many wave buys right now.
Oh.
So Newman holds on for now, and Jeff Burton joins that race. And for 2nd place, Michael Waltrip rallying back.
Getting by Nemechek. And here comes McMurray once again. How many laps is he down?
7.
Got one back on the last caution flag, and he's trying to drive by these guys and get another one back.
Going to come a point that many laps down where some of these lead lap cars are going to wish he'd get out of the picture there.
Oh, yeah.
But I think there's enough laps left in the race that, you know, in my opinion, he's okay where he's at.
I think they're yelling now.
Battle for 4th, Tony Stewart, who might have the fastest car in this field, the orange car, number 20, trying to go by Ward Burton to take over 4th.
Trying.
There's
old Tony hooking the bottom again.
And making it. Newman trying to follow. Ward, you've opened the door. They're all going to try to go through.
Better be careful how you try to slam it shut. Here comes brother Jeff. That's going to shuffle Ward from 4th position back to 8th in that lap. Jr. in clean air, put a little distance on 2nd place Michael Waltrip, Bill.
Yeah, Michael might be able to eat that up in a few laps, too. His car all day not very good at the beginning of a run, but the longer they go, the better it gets. So that could be the situation here. McMurray going by on the inside. Michael not too happy having to battle with that, but McMurray's got a good car, although he's not in competition for the win. 7 laps down for the 42, but Michael locking on to his bumper, trying to chase down the 8. Car gets better as it goes along, Alan.
Say, after the damage Michael took to that right front in the accident with Mark Martin back at lap 75, I'm surprised he's been as strong as he has, but they did a good job getting it fixed up enough to where he's been competitive.
Oh, Michael out wide, trying to get a run off that corner, trying a different line to see what works best for him.
See how mashed up that right front corner is on the Napa car.
This car looks like it might be a little bit tight.
Tough break for Michael at the end of the race in New Hampshire last Sunday. He had scrubbed the wall with the right side of his car, knocked the tailpipes loose where they mount up against the underside of the body between the right side tires. NASCAR showed him the black flag late in the race because they were afraid that those tailpipes would come off, could get hit by another car, maybe get tossed into the air and become a safety hazard. So they showed him the black flag. Michael disappointed in that because he didn't feel like the pipes were loose enough to warrant the black flag. But he had to answer it, and it cost him some points in his fight for the championship last Sunday. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has risen to the top of the stack, out in front for the first time all day. 66 laps to go at Pocono. The red car leads the Pennsylvania 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out in front, but he better keep an eye on the rearview mirror for the orange car, because Tony Stewart's coming.
He has gone by Nemechek to take over 3rd, right on the back bumper of Michael Waltrip for 2nd position. Not this lap.
Not this lap.
But it's going to happen.
Last lap by Tony Stewart, 0.3 of a second quicker than Michael Waltrip, 1/10 of a second quicker than the leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. How about our Napa field summary? What's happened so far? 11 different drivers have led today. Ryan Newman has led the most laps. Rusty Wallace second most, followed by Michael Waltrip. Cars out of the race: Morgan Shepherd, Derek Cope, Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd. In the garage, Jeff Gordon after the crash just moments ago. And the caution flags on the race today. Had one at lap 50 for Oil, one at lap 69 for Jeremy Mayfield and Robbie Gordon tangling, 75 for Mark Martin, getting bumped into the turn 2 wall. Ricky Craven stopping on track at lap 119, and then the Jeff Gordon crash at 125. That's been what's happened so far today. And really, to sum up the racing, Ryan Newman, good off the get-go, would come back to the pack after a while on a set of tires. Then through some pit strategy, Newman shuffled back into traffic, and the dirty air has not been as kind to his machine as some of these others that are in front of him.
But he moves back to 4th position as he goes by Nemechek.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip stretched their fuel, stopping just before a caution came out at lap 117, stayed on track when the other leaders pitted at 119, and that's how they got the top 2 spots.
And now most of these cars can make it on one more stop. It may be iffy for some of them. And the question is, if they get to that window where they hit, are they going to come in and hit?
And is Tony Stewart going to get Michael Waltrip here?
Oh, boy. Tony had his hands full there. Car got loose. He had to just crack the throttle and decided to get back in line and give it another shot.
26 cars on the lead lap at this point in the race, but the 26th up is Dave Blaney. Was a little bit off the pace a second ago.
Stewart's definitely better in turn 1. They look like they're fairly even in turn 3, but turn 2, Michael's a little bit better. But it just looks like those Gibbs cars have a little bit more horsepower than the rest.
It just looks like that Tony in turn 1 is where he's the 2 or 3 tenths of a second he's beating the field. He's doing most of it down in turn 1. This corner where they're approaching right now. Watch as he just goes down to the very bottom of the racetrack. As Tony exits the corner. Now, if Michael wasn't there, he could let the car drift out against the outside retaining wall. The car would be faster, but since Michael is there and not able to do that, he's got him now.
Got him now.
So Tony Stewart to second. 3.5 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. after being off the pace by about 10 seconds the lap before. Dave Blaney's back up to speed. 26 cars on the lead lap at Pocono.
The Pennsylvania 500 from Pocono Raceway on TNT is brought to you by Pontiac, fuel for the soul, and Subway, fresh-made sandwiches on fresh-baked bread. Subway, eat fresh.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead here in the Pennsylvania 500, 145 of the 200 laps in the book, having an outstanding run. Last time Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on pit road, a slight air pressure adjustment. They can make it the rest of the way on one more stop. The question is, what will they do about tires? 2 or 4? We'll have to wait and see. Junior is the leader. Let's take you through the field. Behind him is, well, not really, but Matt Yoakum.
And Tony Stewart 4.5 seconds back of Dale Jr. And that's the same question for the 20 team, 2 or 4. And one thing Wally was talking about, they have picked up huge in the horsepower department over the past 3 months. At the chassis down in Chicago, they had the most, Bill.
Michael Waltrip says the car is as good as it's been all day, just a little on the loose side. They can definitely make it on one more stop. The caution flag laps ensured it. Marty?
Bill, Ryan Newman running in 4th. He led the most laps so far today. The only other time he's led the most laps this year, Dover. He went on to win that day. They are still 2 laps short on field, but thinking 2 tires, Matt.
And Matt Kenseth, his car's still a tick on the tight side, but he's very happy with it, just riding in the 5th position, knowing this could be another great day in the points, Bill.
And it could be an outstanding day for Jeff Burton, currently running 6th on the racetrack.
But the problem is they will probably need a gas and go at the end. So it'd be 2 more stops for fuel for Jeff Burton. We'll wait and see how that plays out. Dave?
Joe Nemechek is going to be close, according to his crew chief. He's a little bit loose off 3, tight into 1, but he said the car is getting better. Bill, back to you.
I asked Sterling Marlin's crew chief Lee McCall if they could make it on 1 more stop. He said it's going to be close. I said, how close? He said if Sterling wins, he won't be doing a burnout. Dave?
1 more pit stop for Terry Labonte, and then he will be safe on fuel. And he's been picking up spots, guys. That car is looking really good. Matty?
And in the 10th position is Bobby Labonte, and it's the same story as earlier. It says the car is just doing the same thing it's been doing all day. I just can't go anywhere in traffic. We're just stuck riding along.
There's your top 10. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front of Tony Stewart by 4.5 seconds. Stewart running a 1/10 of a second per lap faster than Jr. the last couple of laps. It's a long way to go at a 1/10 of a second a lap to catch that front-running 8 car. Let's keep going through the field. How about the 2 car, Marty?
He's in 11th place. 46-year-old Rusty Wallace is trying to prove that experience does pay here at Pocono, like we talked about in Countdown to Green. They will gamble on it. Very close on fuel. Tight as it's been all day, Dave.
Ward Burton pitted just prior to the last caution. That's why they stayed out. They've been moving back, losing positions, but they can go on fuel. Matt?
What a rebound for Kurt Busch. He has climbed all the way up to the 13th position since they fixed that problem in the right front. He has not said a word on the radio, just making noises like dog noises, growling each time he passes the car, Marty.
Johnson stopped back on lap 126. His crew chief Chad Canal said, drive the heck of it out of it. We don't have to worry about the fuel as he just goes around the 97 car. Johnson's car just a little bit loose, but he's pretty happy right now with his machine, Matt.
Starting out the top 15 is Ty Bodine. At this juncture, they feel like they can make it just on 1 more stop. On his last stop, they made an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires. 2 tires the car earlier on just did not like. Alan?
Todd Bodine with a new crew chief on that 54 team. Gary Cogswell named interim crew chief on that machine. He and Todd had won a couple of NASCAR Busch Series races together a year ago.
What really surprises me, if there are cars out there that cannot make it on 1 more stop, why they did not stop and top off on that last. They did not want to give up track position, but if they got to stop and gas and go, it's going to cost them a lot more.
And I think if they would have done it at that time, that would have been just enough, or they didn't have to make that extra stop.
Is that Bill Elliott Jr. just went roaring past?
Looks like it. Elliott was slow up in the corner. Was Mayfield in 19?
Jeremy, okay. All right, Jeremy's wounded machine. Limping around and back in. He had tangled with Robbie Gordon earlier in the race, and that's where that damage came from. Earnhardt Jr. leads. Coming up on 50 laps to go in the Pennsylvania 500. Can Tony Stewart catch him? Pennsylvania 500 at Pocono. There's the gap, the red car to the orange car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading Tony Stewart by 4.1 seconds. And we're a little less than 10 laps away from the beginning of the final round of pit stops in this race. Talking about Ricky Rudd's 700th consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup start. Today, earlier in the race, car pushed back to the garage after it stopped off the racetrack, ending Ricky's hopes for a great finish to commemorate that 700th start. What happened to it?
Well, let's go inside our Home Depot garage and we'll show you. On the front of the engine, the oil pump is an external. It is driven by a belt. There you see in green, the oil pump belt. Sometimes debris comes off the racetrack, gets between the gear and the belt, breaks it. When that happens, you lose oil pressure, all the lubrication inside the engine. And pretty soon, it gets started getting warmer and warmer and warmer, and pretty soon, it will not turn at all. Engine out.
Oh, man. I wonder if that's what just happened to Tony Stewart. Just while you were watching the end of that, smoke from the back of the second-place car. Matt?
Tony Stewart just keyed the mic and said, zippy, it just broke.
And the caution flag. NASCAR has thrown the caution flag.
Oh, is this going to make fuel a drama here at the end of this one?
Man.
47 laps to go. Well, they were making extra horsepower.
Yeah, they were making horsepower.
But it didn't last to the finish. Second place car out.
Bobby Labonte's probably scratching his head right now. His teammate to Tony Stewart.
It's been that kind of year for Tony Stewart, huh? Running strong, but just...
Whatever you want to do, man.
It's going to be the 5th race this year he's failed to finish.
There you see smoke coming from the exhaust. It's never a good sign on a racing engine.
So the pace car gathers up the field. Here they'll come to the opening of pit road. They'll stop with 46 laps to go.
You think anybody would just change 2 tires?
I would probably think they would, the guys in the back, but if I was in the front, I wouldn't.
No, that's right. Probably the first 10 cars will all change 4.
Yeah, well, but it's almost been a full fuel run, though.
Well, it has. That's right. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
So if you're going to wait on the fuel, you might as well change the 4.
I think some guys might try 2. Some of those guys like Elliott Sadler, Greg Biffle, Tony Raines, Dale Jarrett, back about 17th to 20th. That's why I don't want to be a crew chief. Too many hard decisions.
So with Stewart out of the picture, it's now Michael Waltrip, Ryan Newman, and Matt Kenseth who are the closest pursuers of Dale Earnhardt Jr. 55-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit, and what will it be? 2 tires or 4? Who gets off pit road first? Hero time for the pit crews, Bill.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. came across the radio and said, give me a good one, guys. They talked about staying out because they cannot make it from here. They'll probably have to go with a splash and go with about 5 laps remaining in the race. Around to the right side, this should be a 4-tire stop. They do come around to the left, jam all the fuel in there they can. Junior will be heading back out, trying to hang on to the lead. See what the other guys are doing on pit road. Marty?
Costly pit stop here for Ryan Newman. It's just going to be 2 tires, but it took a long time on the right rear, and the cars behind them will have 4 tires. They still won the race off pit road. They only have 2 tires, Matt.
4 tires for the point leader, Matt Kenseth, and no adjustments on his Ford. Dave.
2, 4, and 5 for the 5 car. 2 tearaways off, 4 tires on, 5 laps short. They cannot make it on fuel from here.
Now we'll see if these guys come in right before it goes green to top off.
The guys that can make it, that are really close, they might do that gamble on trying to win this thing.
We'll follow up on the pit strategy for you when we come back. 46 laps to go, just over 100 miles left in the Pennsylvania 500. The Pennsylvania 500 Pocono Raceway coming down to its final 100 miles, and a little fuel mileage drama beginning to be stacked up here as the checkered flag nears. The race to the finish will not include that machine. Tony Stewart running second laps ago when it all went wrong.
Down the backstretch, all of a sudden something in the engine goes south. All the smoke, we know it's over.
Coach Gibbs, a disappointing day. A disappointing day in what has been a disappointing season for Tony Stewart. Problems on the 20 car have cropped up from time to time through the year, hampering his championship defense. Here's a wreck at Bristol, took him out of the race, failed to finish. Had an engine failure the following week at Texas. Got into early April. Talladega troubles. California engine troubles. And another wreck at Richmond, Virginia. Then Charlotte, more problems for Tony Stewart. Daytona, July 5th. Out of fuel. Wow. What a season. Defending a championship is almost more difficult than winning one, some people say. For Tony Stewart, that has proven to be the case in 2003. Got a lot of oil to clean up from that 20 car, so they're still under the yellow and going to be for another couple of laps. We'll take a break. Jimmy Spencer did not pit under this yellow so far.
Back at Pocono, and the activity is on pit road. 157 laps are complete. They just got to 1 to go. Several guys coming down pit road to top off. They are still at the very edge of their window. It's fuel only for Michael Waltrip. His teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr., opted not to come in. Matt?
Kurt Busch also topped off. They feel like, although close, they should be able to go the distance from here. Matt Kenseth, the point leader, needed to go to at least lap 159, maybe 160.
So more strategy being played with the fuel mileage here at Pocono. Earnhardt Jr. did not stop. Ryan Newman, Rusty Wallace did not stop. Matt Kenseth did not stop.
And I guarantee you, not all these cars that just stopped can make it. Some of them are going to run out of fuel.
Is that a guarantee?
That's a guarantee.
It's a BP money-back guarantee. All right, we've got a minute before the restart. Let's finish that commercial break we interrupted to show you the pit stops. Back at Pocono as the pace car hits pit road and the green flag waves over the Pennsylvania 500. Ryan Newman, the race race leader. Rusty Wallace second, Earnhardt Jr. third, Matt Kenseth is fourth, Elliott Sadler is fifth. The first of the cars who stopped to top off the fuel, Michael Waltrip in 16th place.
Okay, some of these cars have to run 42 left. If it stays green the rest of the way, some of them are not going to make it.
Guy out front, probably not.
Well, he's not going to stop because he has to stop because he's already admitted he's going to be
right. He's 4 laps short. You're right, BP.
Yeah, he's got to stop. Rusty Wallace got to stop.
Those guys are going to have to run even harder, so they're going to use more fuel too, aren't they? Because they're back in the pack.
Those guys back in the pack, you'd think.
Tell you what, these few laps here while the field's bunched up are going to be tense because the gloves are off now. That's a hockey thing, Wally. That's just before they start fighting.
Did you play hockey? I saw that picture. I thought that was a girls' hockey team.
But all you noticed was the hair. That's the thing.
But now, if there's a car back in the pack that can't make it, when he gets to his window, which is lap 165 or 170, whatever, it would be smart of him to hit, change tires, get that splash of fuel, and go back on the racetrack by himself.
Yes.
Because we've seen how much better the cars run in clean air than in all this traffic. And you stand a lot less chance of crashing when you're running by yourself.
Jimmy Johnson in 48, running 7th. Sterling Marlin, Bobby Labonte. The brave 3-wide move to the inside. That'll get him 8th spot. Labonte 4th in the championship. Remember, Jeff Gordon is in the garage, involved in an accident earlier.
And really, there's no way you can really save fuel here. I mean, you talk about short shifting where you don't use all the RPMs. Instead of shifting at 9,200 RPMs, you may shift at 85. But you really can't do that right now because you're racing. And if you start short shifting, these guys are going to start passing you.
Here comes Elliott Sadler, dealing with some lap traffic. 38 car running 5th, got 2 tires only on his stop to grab some track position. Question is, can he go through the checkers on fuel?
Here comes Jeff Burton, the 99 car.
Yeah, I saw Elliott Sadler stick his hand out the window and point him to go by, but and that's the thing, when you're hung out on the outside going into turn 2, you're better off just letting the car go ahead and then drop back in single file.
Benny.
Yes.
Were you speculating that guys might be stopping as soon as their window opens?
Exactly.
Okay. If I were you, I might keep my eye on that 4-0 car.
4-0.
Maybe in, say, 2 laps.
Yeah. Hey, I think that's great strategy, Bill. I think that's just terrific.
It came from a great mind, BP. Yours.
Terry Labonte. 3-wide move on Sterling Marlin and Kevin Harvick. That'll get you 2 spots at once, up to 9th from 11th for Texas Terry. Dave Burns.
I've got Greg Zipadelli, crew chief for Tony Stewart. You've had a first look at the motor. Could you tell anything, Greg?
No, it's something internal broke. I don't know if it was a rod or spun bearing. Nothing came out the oil pan, but it broke something in there between the oil and the water because they were both coming out the pipe. It's a shame the Home Depot Monte Carlo was awful strong today. It seems like that's kind of the story of our year. We've run a lot of races and had really good cars and haven't been able to close the deal. But everybody knows we're here. We'll try and pick up the pieces and go to Indy. Hopefully we can we'll fire us back up because we didn't qualify well. But we all fought and clawed and dug pretty hard today to get back to the front, and everybody did a good job. I'm proud of my guys and my driver for being able to overcome that. And it's a hard place to pass, and we did most of it under green. So, like I said, we'll just head to Indy and we'll go on.
A place, Indianapolis, where they really want to do well. Matt?
And Kevin Harvick just came in to top off. He should be able to go the distance from here.
Okay, 38 laps. He's good to go.
The BP strategy, remember, you will not lose a lap if you're close enough to the leader here at Pocono, pitting under green.
Sterling Marlin goes by Elliott Sadler to move in the 9th position. But again, cannot make it the rest of the way on fuel.
And we heard Bill Weber say we could expect to see Sterling Marlin on pit road shortly to do the same thing Kevin Harvick just did. By the way, Jeff Gordon just back on track out of the garage. This is his first lap back on track. 37th place, 40 laps down to the race leader.
See, now look at Kevin Harvick. He's on the racetrack. There's no one around. How good is that? Pretty good. That's pretty good. Clean racetrack. He can run as fast as the car wants to run. Doesn't have to worry about dirty air, any kind of air.
He just has to worry about all those guys that don't have to stop.
That's right.
It's starting to sound like we're talking about a Formula One race. Pitting to get separation and clean air and dirty air and so on. 37 laps to go. Ryan Newman leads the Pennsylvania 500. His teammate Rusty Wallace is his closest pursuer. Caution has just come out. Casey Mears has just hit the wall in turn 1. 7th yellow flag of the Pennsylvania 500. Just before Mears hit the wall, Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Johnson, and Sterling Marlin were on pit road under green getting fuel, joining Kevin Harvick, who had done it a lap before.
Now all those cars that couldn't make it are going to have to stop. They can stop, but they've got to restart behind all the cars that have stopped.
It'll be a race now. Just don't have to worry about fuel mileage.
That's right.
So Ryan Newman comes back to the caution flag, letting Jamie McMurray have another of his laps back. McMurray still 6 laps down to the race leader in 30th spot.
Here is where that track position is going to pay off.
Big time, yep.
See the safety workers there with Casey Mears, and he is out of the car.
Pretty serious damage to that target car. That right rear became a target, didn't it?
Well, now, how about the 12 car, Marty? Do they pit here, or do these caution laps give them enough margin?
Ryan Newman's team right now will not pit on this time, Alan. They think they can get some more caution flag laps right now. Right now on the radio, Matt Borland saying, save fuel, save fuel. If we can keep it out front, we can win this thing, Bill.
They were just talking to Junior on the radio. Right now, they're 3/4 of a lap short. They want to see if they're going to get 4 caution laps. If they get 4 caution laps, then they may not pit. Matt?
And right now they're debating about whether to bring Matt Kenseth in. Robbie Reiser's asking Matt, what does it look like on the racetrack? How long before the wrecker hooks up to the race car? How many laps do you think we'll have? Right now, Jack Roush, the owner, and Robbie Reiser discussing what to do. They're debating here in the 17 pit. Dave.
And Jim Long and the 5 crew, they are doing the same thing, Matt, discussing it. They know they need 5 caution laps. They're just completing 1 now. 5 is good, 6 is a guarantee, so they don't know if they'll get it. We'll wait and see. Bill?
The 99 of Jeff Burton was about to come to pit road when that caution came out. Now it looks like their strategy is going to come in, top off with fuel, go back out, and see what happens. Matt?
And they have ended the debate in the 17 pit. They are bringing Kenseth in. He just needs a few splashes of fuel. And he gets 2.5, 3 seconds worth. That should be enough. Should.
Should.
Go ahead, Bill.
Jeff Burton came in, just got gas, about 3 seconds worth, kind of got hung up with Johnny Benson. They're leaving. As for Dale Earnhardt Jr., he just came across the radio and said, I'm not pitting.
I'm not pitting. All right.
Well, he does have the final say. They can call him in all they want.
That's right. If he doesn't want to turn down pit road, it doesn't matter what happens.
Now, Ryan Newman and Earnhardt Jr. and Terry Labonte did not pit. Matt Kenseth and Jeff Burton did. Let's also make note that Michael Waltrip, who had topped off at the end of that last caution, has come all the way back to 5th position. It's the Pennsylvania 500, just over the 400-mile mark, and the strategy twists and turns continue. 32 laps to go on the Pennsylvania 500. Cleanup continues in turn 1, where Casey Mears crashed a moment ago, though he did climb from the car okay. What kind of fuel strategy are we seeing played out here today? How about the leader, Ryan Newman? Marty?
Well, earlier he was 9 laps short. Matt Borland, you got any good fuel-saving tips for me?
Not really. We'll just have to see how this thing shakes out. Hopefully we'll get another couple of yellows and it'll help us out.
They think they should be able to make it all the way with these caution flag laps. NASCAR's asked him if the track is dirty. He said it's terribly dirty. It needs to be blown off. Bill?
Clark is the engine specialist for the 18 for DEI. He is the one that decided that they needed 4 caution laps. That's him in the middle of your screen right there with the dark hair and the earpieces in. Jeff was talking to crew chief Tony Eury Jr., telling him to relay to Junior, take it easy under the caution. Watch when you scrub your tires. Save as much as you can now. Junior came back and said, I'm going to scrub my tires, I'm going to go fast, and we'll probably run out, but I'm not coming in. Dave?
Well, Jim Long is a crew chief for Terry Labonte. They've been talking over a lot of things, including the fact that Terry spotted some debris down in turn 1, but you're still going green, Jim. Do you have enough fuel?
It's going to be awful close. I'm going to tell you, the Kellogg Chevrolet, we've been running good all day. We just need some track position. Another caution lap wouldn't hurt, but we've been begging and pleading, but don't think we're going to get it. We'll just see what happens.
All right. And Jim doesn't like these fuel mileages race. In fact, he said, I no longer let him tell me the fuel mileage on Saturday night because I want to get some sleep. Bill?
Wacky race just got wackier. Where do you stand in this thing?
Well, we finally got the car tightened up. It's the best it's been all day long, and we're not coming on pit road again. We're good to go. We can run 42, 43 laps. So
you pitted at the right time.
Yeah, we did. We changed the gear this morning. Michael came over right before the car was supposed to be on 11 o'clock, begged me to change the gear, and we did it. And it's really helped our fuel mileage, and hopefully that'll put us to victory lane.
See what happens, Matt.
And in the 17 pit, Robbie Reiser talking to a crew member from the 99. Going to relay a message to Matt Kenseth here. Relaying a message along to the 99, some radio trouble. Robbie, you had to pit. Now you're back in 21st. Do you have enough time to cut through the traffic?
I don't know.
How close was it?
Pretty close.
A lot of debate under how many cautions you could get. How many more did you need, do you think?
Oh, we probably need a couple more. I don't know. Yeah, probably maybe should have stayed out. Probably bad decision on my part.
One thing to keep in mind, they're racing for a championship. And at Pocono, you do not want to run out of gas because you'll probably never make it back.
Same deal as Daytona. You just cannot gamble when you have this kind of lead for the NASCAR Winners' Cup Championship.
So coming to the restart, which will come with 30 laps to go. By the way, this caution lasted 4 laps.
Might be enough. All right, restart line, gas and go. I shouldn't be using the word gas.
Yeah. Hey, you're not a crew chief. Michael Waltrip looking to go around some of the lap traffic and make a move inside. He restarted 4th, trying to get 3rd from Terry Labonte. Got it, 15 car, nice move.
Here comes McMurray on the inside of Junior. Jamie 5 laps down.
This is about the time, though, these guys are going to start getting aggravated with that 42 car mixing it up. Yeah, these guys are getting close enough to the end of the race where they don't want to be involved with anybody that's 4 or 5 laps down.
He's 5 laps down. The next car behind him is going to be another 7 laps behind him, so he should just get out of there.
He should, because even though that car's in there and it doesn't look like he's holding up, he is.
Matt Kenseth took the restart back in 21st position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm guaranteeing Michael Waltrip's on the radio saying that 42 needs to get out of the way.
Kurt Busch trying to get around Steve Park's car and Terry Labonte, if he can, for 4th place. That was the 15 radio. Crew Chief Slugger Labby asking the spotter on the roof to go talk to Jamie McMurray's spotter.
So Busch goes by Labonte. Now, Kurt Busch was the only Roush car that did not stop and top off on this last caution flag.
He stopped when Michael Waltrip did, Benny, at 155. He topped off there on that one to go. So he's on the same plan that the 15 is.
Yeah. But the 99, 16, 17, all those cars stopped and topped off. So can Kurt Busch make it?
And how about the guys that came in under green, like the strategy you were promoting there a little while ago, Benny? You've got Harvick is up in 9th now. And Jimmy Johnson and Bobby Labonte a little farther back. They haven't been able to hang with him in the traffic, but they gained position on all those guys that just pitted under this caution.
Exactly. And Kevin Harvick was the first one to come in the pits. He's currently in 9th spot.
What a crazy race.
But now, with all that behind us.
Yep. Can anyone do anything with Ryan Newman? And does Ryan Newman have enough gas to get to the checkered flag?
Sterling taking. Is he going to take 13th?
And he's going to try.
Ooh, it's getting bottled up right there.
And he takes it away from Jimmy Johnson.
0-1 car, Mike Wallace. 25th place, first car not on the same lap with the race leader. Ryan Newman up front. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is second. There's the difference between the two. Earnhardt Jr. thinks he's good to the finish on fuel. Not so sure about the leader.
The Pennsylvania 500 from Pocono Raceway on TNT is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And Tropicana Pure Premium. Nothing but the juice. Tropicana Pure Premium.
25 laps to go in the Pennsylvania 500. No change on the leaderboard. Ryan Newman is out in front, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. is with him stride for stride. Nearly identical lap times, lap after lap since we've gone back to green. The question is, does Newman have enough fuel to get to the checkered flag? Does Earnhardt Jr.? College football on TBS this fall. Saturday, September 6th is the kickoff. Arizona and LSU. Best in college football Saturdays this fall on TBS.
These two guys up front aren't saving fuel.
No, they're going as hard as they can. Newman trying to stay in front of the 8 car. The 8 car trying to catch the 12.
You know, a 12 car earlier in the race when he was out front in clean air and just off a pit stop was strong. He motored away from the field the first few times, first few segments of the race. But this time, even though he's in clean air, Junior's just right with him.
And we saw the 12 car early on in the race. He ran good for about half a stop, and then his car would start going back to the other car. If Junior's car stays where it is, and that 12 car backs up just a little bit. Oh, look at Elliott Sadler in that M&M's car. 3 wide.
Jimmy Johnson gave him some room.
Saint Mines prevailed.
Yeah. Bobby Labonte slowing down. He's dropped to 20th place. Remember, his teammate Tony Stewart had an engine failure a little bit ago.
Sadler and the 99 going by Jimmy Johnson. It's back in the
13th, Ben.
13th spot.
Yep. 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Dale Jarrett in there, 17th. What about the 18 there, Matty?
About 15 to 20 laps ago, head engine builder Mark Cronquist was pacing behind the 18 pit box. He was worrying about the engine package in the 18 car, which was the exact same package in Tony Stewart's car. He has reason to worry. Bobby Labonte says something is amiss in the engine department.
Another championship contender with problems today at Pocono. Jeff Gordon in a crash earlier at lap 125. He's back on track, though many laps down in 37th position. And now Bobby Labonte falling back through the field with 24 laps to go.
Well, Kansas started the day with, what, 234-point lead?
Yep.
If we're in now, go down to 212. Second place would change.
Matt has moved up to 18th position from where he restarted in 21st a moment ago. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs second. So we heard Earnhardt Jr. on the radio. Whoa! Boy, that's close. Hoo-hawing about gaining points today. He's not going to gain many on Kenseth, but he is on Jeff Gordon. Unless this thing gets out of hand.
Yeah, it's trying to get out of hand. Garrett and Ford Burton are just leaning on each other all the way around the racetrack there that last lap.
Jeff, yeah.
They're trying their best to find a place to wreck.
Dale Jarrett saw enough of that in turn 1 in the June race here. He didn't want to see that anymore. Oh, Kenseth just about pushing Elliott down there.
And Jarrett loses a couple of spots.
All right, so that's going to put Elliott up to 17th, Kenseth to 18th, and Dale Jarrett back to 19th. Here's our last commercial break during green flag racing. For the distance, we're back to see how the fuel mileage drama plays out in a minute on TNT. Another yellow flag in the Pennsylvania 500. It has just gone into the air because Bobby Labonte first lost the engine and slid in his own oil into the wall in turn number 2. Tough day for Joe Gibbs Racing. And the fourth place man in the championship is not going to have a good weekend here in Pocono.
Blew the engine, obviously, water and oil coming out of those pipes like they were on his teammate's car. Got on the rear tires and slid into the wall.
Not much you can do when that Morsher gets on the speedway.
That's one thing, though. When you have a teammate out there and he blows up, you think about that for a long time. Like, oh, man, is that going to happen to me?
Yeah.
Now then, we're all back to the strategy thing.
Oh,
again.
yeah.
We're back to this deal again.
Okay.
How many cars are going to stop?
Well, let's set up why they might, though. Now, we think that even people like Ryan Newman with these extra caution laps will be good to the finish on fuel.
Maybe. Maybe, okay.
But with new tires,
you're faster.
Being faster than older tires, who comes in? We've got 23 cars on the lead lap. If I'm Matt Kenseth back in 18th,
I bet you they come in further up than that for tires. I'm going to take a guess. Let's see.
All right, let's see.
I'm going to say Harvick's going to come in.
Harvick's the 9th place car.
9th place car, all right. I think Rusty Wallace might. He's back in 17th. I think all the cars in front of him will stay out. Let's see. On board with the Harvick.
Here they come, opening of pit road.
Jim Goodrich car. Is he going to?
Who hangs a left?
Is he going to give up that track position?
Nobody.
Is he?
Nope.
Doesn't look like it.
Here comes Rusty. Jeff Burton's going to be the first one. 15th place car. And championship leader Kenseth does come in.
And Jarrett Biffle, Robbie Gordon, Jimmy Spencer. Matt.
And Matt Kenseth only made it from 21st to 18th from that stop, so they're going to pit, slides to a stop, going to make a 4-tire change. Yes, the wedge wrench goes in the back window. Look for a half, 3/4 turn, which he does get to Marty Snyder.
Matt, we've seen this a lot with Rusty Wallace this year. So good in the first half of the race, and for some reason the car just falls apart midway through the race, and they have been extremely tight here in the second half. He said, I'm just out of tires. I need 4 tires. They make a wedge adjustment. Also some air pressure, trying to loosen this car up.
Now, Bill Elliott or Jimmy Johnson at 14th, 15th, I'm going, darn, I should have come in.
Yeah.
All those guys in my mirror came in, and why didn't we come in?
Foiled again.
Now, I don't think these guys that just stopped can make it back to the front.
No, I don't either, but they can. I bet you they'll pick up
4 or 5 spots.
Yeah.
In Kenseth's situation, 4 or 5 spots is big because we're talking about 12, 15 points.
I'd like to go back and hear from Ryan Newman's crew chief, Matt Borland, too, if he's any more comfortable on fuel. Got a caution, so we'll do that when we come back. Let's take a break here. Newman leads the Pennsylvania 500. A lot of oil dry out there to be run off. We'll be right back.
The Pennsylvania 500 from Pocono Raceway on TNT is brought to you by New Quaker State, the power to reduce friction. McDonald's. And Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser.
So the questions that remain in these final 16 laps in the Pennsylvania 500. Does Ryan Newman have enough fuel to get to the finish? Can he hold off Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the win? Does Earnhardt Jr. have enough fuel safely to battle Newman for that top spot? The answers to these and more questions we begin to get from pit road with Marty Snyder.
That's a lot of questions you want me to ask, Alan. We'll ask Matt Borland. Can you make it all the way now on fuel, Matt?
We think we're in pretty good shape now. Mike's done the calculations, and with that extra yellow, that definitely helped us. And I think we'll be in pretty good shape to bring this Mobil 1 Dodge home in a pretty decent position.
I think we should start stocking anti-acid here on the pit wagon.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
All right, Mike Nelson, the one who does the calculations. They unleashed Ryan. He said, now you can be aggressive with the shifting and the throttle. Go after it, Ryan. Bill?
Well, Jeff Clark and Tony Eury Jr., the car chief down here behind the pit wagon in the 8 pit under green. Jeff told me they were going to be a half a lap short by his calculations. But now, when the caution came out, it made him the happiest man on pit road. He and Tony going over the numbers now, looking at their fuel mileage. So you caught a break there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be real close, but these cautions, they definitely help. They just kind of put us over the edge. So if we do have to race for the win, we'll be able to, you know, we just want to be in a predicament where we couldn't race at the end, you know, be conserving fuel. But these caution laps, they give us where we can really compete for the win.
I saw Jeff Clark smile when that caution came out.
Yeah, he's pretty upset down here, you know, all this. We've run out of gas enough to know where our limits are, so we're going to try not to do it today.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Matt.
Jimmy Finning, the 12 and the 8 team say they can go the distance on fuel. Now do you have a car good enough to get by them?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, clean air is good air, and I mean, that 12 car's out front in the clean air, but we got Kurt Busch behind the wheel, and that's awesome. And I'll tell you, this crew, we struggled today. This Rubbermaid crew never gave up, and it ain't over yet.
33rd all the way back up to 3rd, Bill.
Michael Waltrip trying to work his way back to the front of the field, but it doesn't look like it's going to be as easy as it was earlier in the race. For the first time today, his car is pushing. He believes they put too much air in the tires. After 10 to 15 laps, he said it just started pushing big. The only thing he can figure out, too much air in the tires on their last stop. The car is not nearly as good as it was earlier in the race.
And some of those guys like Michael are going to have a little bit more contend with trying to get past those lap cars. You know, if Ryan Newman and Dale Jr. and Kurt Busch can clear those lap cars right off the bat, they're going to get in that better air. These other guys behind are going to have to race side by side for a while, and they're going to lose some track position.
Still cleaning up all the oil dry, so let's take our final commercial break of the Pennsylvania 500. 15 laps to go. Newman and Earnhardt Jr. getting set for a shootout. None of the 100,000 plus here at Pocono Raceway for the Pennsylvania 500 have left, and they're going to see a dramatic final 14 laps. As fuel mileage still in play, Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to find a way around Ryan Newman for the victory. Show you how he got to this point in the race. Ricky Rudd with his 700th consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup start commemorated in pre-race ceremonies today. Rudd would not end up being around to see the checkered flag this afternoon. Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson led the field off for the green flag. Newman made the first move to pit road at lap 33. Thought he had a tire going down the late move to the pit lane, but he kept control of the car barely, and it worked out okay. Jeff Green brought out the first caution of the race when oil began dropping from his machine. The leaders all pitted there. Jeremy Mayfield and Robbie Gordon involved in the second caution, that at lap 69. Mayfield getting the worst end of that deal. Mark Martin, victim of a chain reaction. Michael Waltrip not really at fault there, but couldn't get off Mark in time when Mark had to check up. Mark done for the day. He finishes 41st today. Lap 118, Ricky Craven stopped on track. Just before the caution came out, Waltrip and Earnhardt Jr. rocketed into pit road, made their stops, then the caution came out. It gave them great track position, which obviously Earnhardt Jr. is using to great advantage. There's Ricky Rudd's car. Oil pump belt came off. Out of the race. His 700th consecutive start will wind up with a 38th or 9th place finish. Big moment in the championship. Jeff Gordon. Lap 125 into the outside wall. Gordon back on track, but he's going to finish way down in the field, probably about 36th in this race. Earnhardt Jr. with a move around Michael Waltrip for the lead. Got Earnhardt Jr. to the point. Tony Stewart running second with his engine let go. Bad day for Joe Gibbs Racing. Bobby Labonte's engine is also let go. He is done for the day. Casey Mears with a crash. After winning 2 ARCA races earlier this weekend here, there's the Bobby Labonte engine failure that brought out the caution with 17 to go. It is the yellow that we're still cleaning up from now. Through all of that, various pit strategies, various fuel mileage games have been played. I'll write a book on this one, the way that it's gone down.
There's really no way to expect the caution flags that we've had in the last 20, 30 laps, but it's sure been an advantage for the 12 car of Ryan Newman, the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch back in '97. It took some iffy situations, and it probably made them okay.
Newman, Earnhardt Jr. and Terry Labonte did not pit at lap 167, which got them up into the first 3 spots. Some of the guys behind them that did.
Top 3 or 4 cars have got to be on their toes here on this restart. As you see, Jamie McMurray is not up there now. He decided to drop down to the back of the pack. He's 5 or 6 laps down, so that was a good move on his part.
Got as many of those laps back as he could. Now he's out of the way and letting the leaders race for the finish.
We got Junior cleared. Kurt Busch cleared.
Steve Park, the first car, lap down to the inside. Steve back in 26th place. He's actually 2 laps down.
Kevin Harvick on the inside of Blaney in the '77 car.
Yeah, Blaney didn't pit. Got a little bit of track position there. He and Todd O'Reilly up into the top 10. Nice job for them. How about Tony Raines? 10th place right now in that white 74. That'd be a great finish for that team. Terry Labonte, Michael Waltrip, 4th and 5th place, side by side.
Labonte on the inside, Michael on the outside.
Michael's running really good on that high line.
And Nemechek, the 25 car, going to try to follow Michael Waltrip to get by Labonte.
And Todd Bodine in the 54 is in that race for position 2.
Now they're all lined up on the outside, so the draft comes into play here a little bit against Terry Labonte.
Bobby Labonte has just come from the infield medical center. He's with Dave.
And he's walked across the garage under his own power, so he's okay. But tell us about this motor situation, Bobby, 2 in 1 day.
Well, I mean, it's just unfortunate. You know, these guys do a great job. I mean, you know, and it happens sometimes, and unfortunately it happened to both of us today. A lot of times that don't happen. Well, I know a lot of times it doesn't happen to us. We don't have a problem usually. Tony's had a little bit more than we have this year. And that's maybe our first one. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but it's been a long time. So just one of those things that happens, and I know they'll look at it and try to figure out how to fix it. That's all you can do.
Are we running these things too hard to try to win on fuel mileage? Do you think that's an area where everybody's just pushing the limit?
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, it's fuel mileage, tire strategy racing is not really racing. So it's, you know, but I don't think that was our point. You know, I know the 20 was a little different than us today, so I mean, they blew up too. So, you know, might have been the same part, might not have.
All right, they'll be back next week as well, guys.
97 cut in front of Junior or what?
Kurt Busch, the 97 car, goes to second spot. Matt, Kenny told me all he wanted was a top 10, but they're going for more than that.
They're going for the win, Benny. Jack Roush, the last 2 races here at Pocono, a 2nd place finish. He's never won here. Look at Kurt Busch's season. Had flat tires while running 3rd at Daytona, 3rd at Charlotte, 10th here back in June. He blew up in Chicago and Atlanta. This team really feels like if they could get some good luck, good things would happen. His last top 10 finish, his victory at Michigan. He might get another top 10, a win here today.
Boy, I don't think Ryan Newman wanted to see that last little stat fact that came across the screen. Leader with 10 laps to go has failed to win 4 of the last 7 races here at Pocono.
And it looks like the 97 car of Busch is as fast as Ryan Newman right now. Might even be a little faster.
Yeah, it looks like he's faster.
Yeah.
Kurt Busch has failed to finish 2 of the last 3 races here at Pocono. Left rear tire.
Got a flat tire on the 16.
Got more on Greg Biffle, Dave?
Yeah, guys, they had just changed 4 tires and not added any more fuel on the last stop because the car was so good. So they picked up a left rear flat. They're going to change left only when he comes in, but they really thought they had a chance to go back to the field with fresh rubber.
Yeah, and when you cut a tire here at Pocono, this place is so big and takes so long to get around. You lose so much track time.
Did it get cut or did he have some contact?
He may have had a little contact.
Yep.
That's where it got cut, right there.
That's off turn 3.
Contact with Spencer and got down the left rear tire.
So Biffle limps back around to pit road to get some attention from Randy Goss and his crew, while Kurt Busch stalks Ryan Newman.
Now you can catch him. Can he pass it? And that's the thing where we find out on these cars where we get this. We always talk about this dirty air. Newman's in the best position because he doesn't have it, but Kurt Busch has got to catch that 12 car. Then he's going to get that dirty air. He's got to figure out how he's going to get past the 12 car.
Well, Kurt Busch is kind of like Tony Stewart. He's running a much lower line in turn 1 than Ryan Newman. That might be a spot where he can make up some distance.
See the 2 different lines there BP was talking about?
Didn't look like he gained too much that time.
Jeremy Mayfield to the garage. Nothing more he can gain today. The laps he lost earlier.
And here's the place, too. When you're in the 2nd place car, it's difficult because you lose the air on your nose, and it's hard to get through the tunnel turn when you're following somebody like that. It's hard to make a gain there because it's not like turn 1 or turn 3 where you could use a different line to get the air on your car.
Well, I think he's picked up a little bit this lap.
Looks like he has. He looks like the last time by he was 0.508 seconds behind Ryan Newman. We'll see this time as they go by. Same thing.
No,
0.23, so he
Yep.
gained quarter of a second. Now, we saw last time, is he going to be able to run the same line? Can he gain here? Oh, Newman moved down to his line.
Yep. Kurt Busch working over Ryan Newman, trying to take the win away in the final laps.
If Kurt can get close enough to him, get on that rear bumper, make him a little bit loose, especially in the, you could really do that in the tunnel turn 3. That's all he's going to need is that 12 car just to slip a little bit.
Farther, upper corner rather, farther back than these two, the race for third between the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated teammates. Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip. Earnhardt Jr.'s car's really faded here since that last restart.
Michael just driving by on the outside to take over third spot.
And for the leaders, 0.233 seconds last time, just about the same this time. 5 laps to go.
Can't get a whole lot closer.
That time Ryan Newman gave Kurt Busch the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, that could be the problem. Is he stuck in that air point where he can't get any closer? Or?
Yeah. Right about where these guys are running, it feels like there's a big wall of air that it's hard to get any closer. If you're going to have to, if you're going to try to get on his rear bumper, if Kurt Busch is going to try to get on the bumper of Ryan Newman, he's got to do it getting into the corner.
Hey, Weber, what was that stat you threw at us on Countdown to Green? No one under 28 had ever won here at Pocono?
Only one driver in the 51 races here under the age of 28 has won at this track. Jeff Gordon did it 3 times. The last time was in 1998, 5 years ago yesterday, when he was still 27, 9 days short of his 28th birthday.
Got a 25-year-old leading and a 24-year-old second.
There's where Kurt makes up a little. He makes the gains right there, big time in turn 1.
When he's able to run that bottom line and get that clean air on the nose of his car.
It just seems like when he gets right close to Ryan, that's when his car stops turning.
Kurt Busch has finished worse than 28th 4 of the last 6 races. Knocked him down in the championship standings to 8th place. And a whopping 605 points behind Matt Kenseth. It's going to be hard for Kurt to get back in the championship fight. What's left for him? How many wins can I score in the rest of 2003? Already this season, 3 times a victory. Bristol, California, Michigan for Ryan Newman. 3 times a winner this season. Newman at Texas, Dover, and Chicagoland. Both drivers not in the championship because of troubles they've had finishing races on several occasions this season.
Oh, here we go. Junior trying to get by his teammate Michael Waltrip for third again. Does it?
Wow. Kurt Busch is a lot closer there to Newman that time going through the tunnel turn.
I think this is right here. This third turn is where he's been losing the steam.
Right. And if he can maintain right there, getting off of 3, then I bet you he could get beside him in turn 1. But there's where he has the trouble. He's losing the air on the nose, and the car pushes up the racetrack. He lost a good car length and a half, 2 car lengths there in turn 3.
Ryan's father, left of the picture in the blue headset. His girlfriend, Chrissy, just blocked from view by the crewman coming around to gather around the monitor. See if their driver can get it done over the final lap and 3/4.
Right there. Newman's got a mirror full.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Newman doesn't go down at the bottom of the racetrack in turn 1 and take away Kurt Busch's line.
Can he get enough to loosen him? Yeah.
Well, Ryan got a little bit out of the throttle just for a second.
Kurt tried to stick the nose of that Ford right up under the back bumper of Newman's Dodge and see if the air bubble can make him wiggle.
And that's what he's got to do. But, you know, Ryan is doing a good job, too, taking that line away from Kurt Busch.
White flag is up. Final lap here at Pocono. The winningest drivers in 2003 in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series going to settle this one between them.
One more shot.
No, Newman did not take that bottom line.
Kurt really lost a lot of steam off turn 3 that last time.
He just can't get off 3 well enough, I don't think, to make a run down to the line.
This was the corner he got close to him last lap. Can he do it this one?
Yeah, he's got a good run. Didn't get through there as good enough. Last lap got through a little bit better.
Final corner of the Pennsylvania 500. Last chance for Ryan Newman to slip and Kurt Busch steal the win away. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Fourth time this season, the checkered flag waves first over Ryan Newman. He wins the Pennsylvania 500, 0.3 of a second over Kurt Busch. Earnhardt Jr. finishes third. The championship leader, Matt Kenseth, comes back to 13th after the late pit stop. Jeff Gordon will finish 36th. Bobby Labonte, 30th. So Ryan Newman with his first
driver. Don Miller congratulated his driver, Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman with his first Pocono win in his fourth race here, his third straight top 5 at this tough old track, Marty.
It is amazing how this 12 bunch does it. The kings of fuel mileage, and also they do it with a fast race car. Were you worried more about fuel or the 97, Matt?
Probably more than 97. We weren't going to make it there for a while, but those yellows definitely helped us in that last run. We were able to open it back up, and Ryan just did an awesome job, and the guys had awesome pit stops all day today. Just a great team effort.
They have taken the lead now with 4 wins, winning 2 of the last 3 races, Alan.
And 100,000 here at Pocono today. Saluting Ryan Newman as he comes by for a little celebration spin.
I guess he's got enough fuel for a burnout.
He said he's got enough fuel for it, but he's not sure how good the tires are.
They're not any good now.
Very nice. Nice, tight, neat donuts there. Give him a good grade on that one. This is the second straight Pennsylvania 500 won by the driver who started on the pole in the 9th overall here at Pocono. And it's the 4th Dodge win of 2003. All of them
by Ryan Newman.
He's got it going on. Be interesting to see what the championship picture looks like here with Earnhardt Jr. finishing 3rd and Kenseth 13th. Junior's not going to gain all that much ground on Matt. Gordon's going to take the big hit. You know, Newman coming into today was 13th in the standings. This might just push him back into the top 10.
Well, and all the trouble I said they had this year with the engines, once again, just one engine failure, and today it did its job.
Yeah.
Some of the others failed, but Ryan Newman's did his job.
Very good. He, you know, once he was out front, he was tough. When he got back in that traffic, he had a hard time. But boy, that clean air in that car was fast today.
On a track where experience usually carries the day, the young guys take the top 2 spots. Actually throw in Earnhardt Jr. there for young guys, and they take the top 3. So Ryan Newman in victory lane for the 4th time this season, Bill.
Well, there are 7 drivers in this field under the age of 28. They have now combined to win 9 of the 20 races this season, led by this man, Ryan Newman. Victory here in Pocono. Crew Chief Matt Borland here to congratulate him. Outstanding run for you. I'll ask you the same question they asked Matt. Were you more concerned about the fuel or the 97?
97 there at the end. I had to do some defensive tactics just to keep his nose in dirty air, but awesome job. Automobile One Dodge was fast. We led some laps to start. The car wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, mostly all day, but the fuel mileage and track position paid off.
Tell me about those defensive measures you employed.
I had to line myself up to get a run off the corner. We didn't have great steam down the straightaway, and I couldn't allow him to get a good run coming off the corner, so I had to get myself the best run coming off the corner.
He got right up on your bumper there, second to last lap.
Yeah, turn 2, I had to, like I said, check up just in order to get a good run off the corner because I saw he was coming on the short chute back there, and luckily it paid off.
This is a track where the veteran guys are supposed to win. You're only the 2nd guy under the age of 28 to ever win at this track.
I've been driving for 20 years, though, too.
Does that help you here?
Without a doubt. This is a great racetrack. It was a lot of fun today. Just want to thank everybody at Penske Racing for all the things they did.
Well, I bet you wish this season started about 7 or 8 races in, don't you?
That's all right. We're coming back.
All right, congratulations. Ryan Newman does his talking on the track. He's celebrating in victory lane. Matt.
Kurt Busch, 33rd at one point, all the way back up. You nearly won. When you got close, Kurt, did you pick up a push?
Not necessarily. We could get a good run on him through 1, and we really thought we had a great car for that, which we did. We're equal in 2. He got us through 3. So I need to work on the flat corner a little better, which is a corner like Indianapolis. So next week's going to be big. But we just gave it a great effort. We could have gotten down on ourselves with that problem. And when we came back out, it worked out smooth. So it's just a great day. You know, new driver suit Rubbermaid gave me for today. Just good luck. Try to get back on track here. I mean, it was a great motor today from Ford, and just trying to get everything put together and get going again with Kraft and Coke and just get everybody up front.
Seems like ever since Michigan, you guys have been up and down, some bad luck, but now you've got some good luck. This good things coming here, going to Indy, a big race.
I hope so. You know, Indianapolis is the second biggest race of the year, and you do all that you can, and we're going to bring our best looking car for that race. And just a matter of being consistent each week. My teammates doing it, and we just got to keep plugging away and get back in this points race.
Owner Jack Roush second for the 3rd straight trip to Pocono. Dave?
Well, Matt, Dale Earnhardt Jr. did not get his first win here at Pocono, but again, a great car today. What were you lacking at the end?
First position, that's pretty much it. We just need track position. You can tell, man, I got the lead on one of the restarts and took off, and it's just, you know, if you're up front, it's a little easier on the car. I could catch the 12. I knew I only had about 3 laps before he'd start driving away because I just pushed my car so hard and couldn't get to him. So congratulations to them. Good job by all them boys over on Penske. But I'm pretty happy. Top 5, you know. Got some points. Matt's still way out there, but I think we passed Gordon. So we're doing all we can do, you know, top 5s, top 10s, whatever.
Did you think earlier in the race when you and Mikey were working together on strategy, you stayed out and stayed out? Was it close, or did you think you had him whooped?
Tony Jr. always runs me out of gas, so it's never close. It's always short. So I told him, he said, don't scrub your tires, you'll throw gas out. I said, man, I've been through this too many times with you, and there's no book on no book on how to save fuel. So I mean, every time they say save fuel, I say, all right, tell me how to do that again. I forget, but
you don't want to go slow, do you?
Well, you know, there's no true way, there's no test to say this is the way you save fuel. But good day for us. Happy for Budweiser, our sponsor, and we keep getting top 3s and know what we can do, man. That's all we can do.
All right, finished 4th here in the spring, 3rd here today. Marty?
And Dave, the man he's still chasing for the championship is Matt Kenseth. The 4-tire stop at the end, was that the right call, Matt?
Well, that was, but the one to pit probably wasn't. You know, when we came down and got fuel, there was only 3 of us on pit road. So just, yeah, I don't know, we've been a little conservative on the gas mileage thing and just, you know, gave away, had a 2nd or 3rd place car and finished 13th, but that's just can't do that. You know, just give away too many points. And, you know, when you play conservative, that's when you get bit. They said that's all the fuel we had, but, you know, I don't know, everybody else made it and got some caution. So we just need to look that over. There's only, I think, 3 or 4 of us ahead to pit that time, and, you know, if it's half or 3/4 of the field, you can live with it. But when you're one of only 3 or 4 cars at pit, you have something wrong, and you got to figure out what it is.
You did gain, though, on the 24. We never wish bad luck on friends, but you did gain a lot on him today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even that worried about it. I just, you know, I take a 3rd place car and finish 13th, but I'm just mad. So I mean, you know, I don't care where everybody else finishes. I feel like we're running good enough to beat them guys and to finish in front of them. And you know, the 8. Got real lucky on that one long green, but then they did a real good job of their pit strategy to get their car up front. And, you know, I think we had a better car than they did today, and probably a little bit better than 97, and he runs 2nd, so it's just real disappointing.
Playing it safe today, the 17 finishes 13th. Matt?
A 9th and a 7th coming back into Pocono. You guys felt like you were going to raise the bar, and you did. You scored a top 5.
Well, it was a good run for us, and our Kellogg Chevy ran good. The guys did a great job in the pits. The track was a little bit different than it was yesterday, and our car was a little bit too tight all day, and we never really could get that adjusted out of it, but that was still a good run for us. And so we're happy with that finish. We'll go on next week.
I bet you wish this was the start of the year, not the start of the second half.
Hey, these guys are doing a great job on this team, and I really feel like the second half of our year can be a lot better than the first half, and I think we had a pretty good first half. So that's what we're working on, trying to be more consistent and more competitive, and, you know, see what we can do.
3 straight top 10 finishes here at Pocono for Terry Labonte.
Nice job by the 2-time champion for a 5th place finish as we check the results from today's Pennsylvania 500. Ryan Newman, 4th win of 2003, leading the circuit in victories, and the 2nd winningest driver this season, finished right behind him.
Jeff Burton comes back to 6th spot. Nemechek, Todd Bodine, good run for him, man.
A good run for Todd and Blaney.
Yep, nice top 10 there. Matt Kenseth, championship leader, came back to 13th. You heard his thoughts just a minute ago.
Tony Raines comes home in 16th. Attaboy, Tony.
Last car on the lead lap, Jimmy Spencer, the 22nd place runner. And everybody else a lap or more down. See, Bobby Labonte got 30th, even after falling out of the race late. A lot of guys with some problems early in this race. You'll see Jeff Gordon's name way down the rundown list. Gordon involved in a crash just after halfway. Results in a 36th place finish. Tony Stewart lost an engine running second. And Mark Martin out after an accident at lap 75. How about NASCAR's top 10? The lead was 234 over Jeff Gordon for Matt Kenseth coming in. Now it's 232 over Earnhardt Jr. Jimmy Johnson up a spot. Bobby Labonte slipping back to 5th.
And Ryan Newman gains 4 up to 9th spot.
And into the top 10. What might be for Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman if not for all those races they struggled to finish early in the season. Marty Schneider is with today's 4th place finisher.
I've tracked him down in his motorhome, and Mike, you had a tough day. You hit a little bit of everything today, with the 6 being for one thing. What happened there? And then talk about your car at the end of the race today.
Well, I was committed to the high side, and somebody just run into the 6 and knocked him out of the out of the groove, and I couldn't do anything about that. I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But what a great run for our car. I thought we were set at the end for a 40-lap run. We've been so strong on old tires, and unfortunately, the thing on that last set of tires just really pushed. I mean, the thing plowed at the end. I was real fortunate that this place is multi-grooved, and I was able to move up high, make some passes, and preserve a top 5 finish. I think in my 18-year career, Marty, that's the most top 5 finishes I've ever had in one season. So obviously, it's a lot of fun being the driver of the Napa Chevy in 2003.
Very nice. Talk about your battle with your teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. It just looked fun sitting from pit road.
I love Junior, man. He gives it his all. And, you know, I just wanted to beat him really bad. I wanted to finish 3rd and him 4th. We've been a little bit playing second fiddle to him all year long, but we were fortunate enough to have a car to contend with him today, but he got me. He's really a great driver, and I'm real proud to be his teammate. I think everybody at DEI ought to be real proud of their accomplishments this season. It's been fun so far. Look forward to the rest of the season. Napa, Klausner, Seeley, Coca-Cola, Oreos. I like Oreos.
Good job, Mike. You see how hard these drivers work? Look at those hands. They're black, and that was with gloves on, blisters as well. Dave?
And catching up with Joe Nemechek, who was too fast today. Finished 7th. Great job. No way to catch the leaders, though, at the end.
Well, you know, we were in that situation when we pitted there. I think we had 42 laps to go on gas, and Peter said it's going to be close. So I was trying to do all I could to save, short shifting, just doing everything. But, man, we've been having some awful luck here lately, and to get a 7th place run for this UAW Delphi Chevy is really, really cool. You know, Peter figured it good, and I saved what I could, and we had 2 gallons of gas left at the end. So, you know, and it's one of those deals that's like save gas, and you don't want to get up there and contend because you're burning gas. You know, the harder you race another guy, you're burning gas. So it's just a great day for this whole Hendrick Motorsports team. I know Jeff had some trouble there, but Terry and I run good, and that's cool.
All right, Joe Nemechek finishing another top 10 for the Hendrick team today. Alan?
So congratulations to Ryan Newman on his win today here at Pocono, and it's on to the Brickyard 400.
See more of the same. I would expect to see the same 2 cars battling for the win at Indianapolis next Sunday.
Indy's a big place for you.
Oh, I love Indianapolis.
Yep,
that's a big race for everybody, and fun racetrack to drive. I'm going to look for that book Earnhardt was talking about. I want to know what that book is, too. All these guys talk about saving fuel. I'm going to look for that book this week, see if I can find it.
Yeah, the same type of race we saw here today we could expect more of in the Brickyard 400, as Benny said. And we've got a big weekend of racing for you next weekend from Indianapolis. There are race cars running all over town. We've got the Saturday night NASCAR Busch Series race from Indianapolis Raceway Park. We've got the Winston Cup qualifying Saturday from the Brickyard, and the Brickyard 400 is going to be a lot of fun, and we hope you'll tune in and join us. So here it is, next Saturday, 8 Eastern on TNT, NASCAR Busch Series racing from Indy, and next Sunday on NBC. The Brickyard 400 coverage beginning at 2 Eastern, beginning with Discover Card Countdown to Green. Next on TNT on the East Coast, Space Cowboys, and on the West Coast, Kelly's Heroes. My son Jason loves those World War II movies. He'll be tuning in, I'm sure. So Ryan Newman has enough fuel to get to the finish, holds off a furious charge by Kurt Busch to take the checkered flag, and his 4th win of the 2003 NASCAR Winston Cup season. We'll talk to you next week with NASCAR racing from Indianapolis on TNT and NBC.